Bop, 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 bop. Rock and roll radio. Let's go.
Don't try too hard to make an intro there, Keith. I'd be worried that you might break something.
Rock and roll radio. Let's go. Copyright the Ramones in 1970 or something. When are the Ramones from? 80s, 70s?
80s, I think. No, maybe they're 70s. You might be right on the 70s.
Was it the band where everyone changed their name to Ramon?
What?
I think they all changed their name to Ramon.
Every member in the band?
Yeah.
That's annoying.
And then they're the Ramones. I think some band did that. It might have been the Ramones. I don't know. I used to have their album. I think it was called 40 Licks, or was that might have been Led Zeppelin. I don't know. I had a greatest hits album from the Ramones that was like 40 songs on one disc because their songs are so short.
Oh,
they're all 2-minute surf punk songs. Man, do they make one song a lot? That was like all their hits, and it's like the same song repeating over and over again for 2-minute intervals where the lyrics just change.
Yeah.
And so it's basically them repeating one sequence of lyrics over and over again because each song doesn't have very many lyrics.
No.
So they just repeat themselves a lot for 2 minutes. Then they say something else for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's like the loop. And it's just... And so many of them are still burned into my brain at this point.
I know some of them just because the fucking Boardwalk plays them on the speaker a lot.
Yeah.
So you'll be casually just sitting there buying some fried Oreos and you'll hear like some Ramones song. You're like, God damn it.
Nice, even tempo, even quality, even audio. And everything's nice and friendly and
It's
energetic.
It's the weirdest... what's the word
All
I'm
these
looking
new
for?
people find the older surf music annoying now. No one wants to hear Barbara Ann with those high-pitched, squeaky sound voices. We don't want to have no girly singers around. Everyone's got to sound like the Ramones, where they're just shouting a lot and saying, let's go.
Hey, oh, let's go.
We'll just cut out that one song that's called The KKK Took My Baby Away, because that might not be really fun, like Pismo Beach music. But everything else, like, going down to Taiwan. Blitzkrieg Bop.
I think it's like...
Stop it.
Did you literally turn on your flashlight by tapping your phone?
No, I turned on my camera that had flash on or something.
Oh.
I don't like this phone. It just does things as a surprise.
I think the da 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 da. I think that song is like literally the song for one of the rides. Like the moment the ride starts, it starts playing that song, and you're like, "What is hell?"
That better be a short ride too, because that song is like 2 minutes long.
Yeah, they are. They're only like 2-minute rides, but it's like worse because then you'll hear the.
Oh, let's go.
No, it's like you'll hear the sound or the song from the ride. But then in the background on the park speaker, you'll hear another Ramones song. You'll be like, "What is this fucking suffering? Like, what are you doing?" I hate the Boardwalk.
I remember the consensus at one point, because I used to be involved in like the rock band community a lot, and there's lots of discussion about what songs when we're getting DLC for this band and that band. And it's like, oh cool, we already got an entire Pixies album. When are we gonna get Where Is My Mind? The one that's everywhere.
Yeah,
stuff like that. But everyone was like, well, we got a Blitzkrieg Bop. When are we getting more Ramones DLC? And then they're like, why? You want to play the same song again, but pay for it? Because I was like, you can just get another band that does 2-minute like hyped punk, like surf punk things, and at least it'll be a little different.
Have you? When's the last time you've been to the Santa Cruz Boardwalk?
Never
at all. You've literally never been to
I've
Santa
either
Cruz.
never been there or I don't remember it.
Okay.
I can't tell you where Santa Cruz is on a map.
Really? Huh. Interesting.
It must be nearby because everyone goes there.
It's not. No. It's like a 2-hour drive.
Oh. No.
It's
if
down
we
below.
For 2 hours, we were always going to like Reno.
Yeah,
Tahoe.
it's down below San Francisco.
We go to the cold place instead of the hot place. That's why California is so expensive. It's like it's a 2-hour drive to beach heaven or 2-hour drive to skiing.
Yeah,
from where we live right now.
Yeah,
which is like it's nice. It's nice to grow up and be a little bit like you can drive somewhere and within that day already be doing shit at that place.
Yeah,
is like a cool thing. Like when we go on ski trips, sometimes it would be like, oh, we had like a timeshare in the area that we'd have certain weekends we'd try to do it in, or maybe we'd rent a hotel room or something. But there's plenty of times where we would just like load up like Eric and Max in the back of a truck and we would just drive out at like 5 a.m. and go skiing all day and come home.
Yeah.
to our houses that are nowhere near snow.
Yeah, you can
in this boring valley with all the dead grass and dust everywhere.
you can do a lot of interesting things in California if you're willing to just get up early enough and drive there. And you can spend an entire day. Like I think if I remember correctly, me and my family went to Disneyland one year where we got up at, I think it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. We drove to Disneyland, and by the time we got there, which is only 8 hours, by the time we got there, like all the kids were awake enough to just go to the park. And we could just go to Disneyland for an entire day after driving down to LA from Northern California, basically from San Francisco to LA. And then we're like,
we never did that because we'd always just go to Six Flags or what used to be called Marine World, which was just
which is like
janky but much closer,
like 30-45 minutes away.
Yeah, it's like less than an hour away, and it's a park. It has rides and animals and shit,
mostly roller coasters,
just no Disney characters. And yeah, it's not your options are limited if you don't like roller coasters, like some people in this room that are me.
You really don't like roller coasters?
No.
That is unfortunate because Six Flags is like the worst place to go.
And by don't like roller coasters, I mean I literally have like not even gone on them.
Wait, ever? Like you don't even know if you don't like them?
I've gone on low roller coasters.
So like roller coasters for kids?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
I've been on the ones where you're just going on a track and you go fast and up and down some hills a bit. But I'm like not up for that.
Really?
I'm not interested in going up in the sky. I don't do the bungee swing. I don't do
the bungee. Oh, you mean the one where
the thing that's way worse than a roller coaster that everyone's like, yeah, just get on this. I'm like, no, not even for a dare. No. Also, I don't do dares. Period, because I don't fall for that shit. But yeah, that looks like a murder. That doesn't work.
Yeah,
that looks like a failed murder ride. I don't go on the swings.
Oh yeah, I don't
spinning swing thing that sometimes somebody falls off and dies anyway.
I've been on
like it comes detached and someone goes flying and they're like, "Oh, park's closed today." And by park I mean this little piece. I'll go on like the circular raft that goes down the river.
So ironically, Disneyland would be great for you. It has the least amount of roller coasters.
But it's 8 hours away.
Well,
so at Marine World, I'll go look at the sharks.
Okay, the shark thing is kind of nice, though.
That is pretty cool. They have a glass tunnel that you walk through, and you're inside the thing. And it's like, this is nice to have.
And it's on an escalator,
next to my house.
Or like the track thing.
I'm not entirely sure because I don't go there as often, but I think it might be better than what they have at like
the aquarium.
Not Mandalay Bay. What's the
Monterey Bay?
Monterey Bay. I think it might be better than what they have at Monterey Bay. I don't think there's like a shark tunnel there quite. There's some really cool shit there. I don't think they have the shark tunnel. No,
they don't have a shark tunnel. They have
a lot of giant vertical things you can walk around that are full of like jellyfish and shit.
Yeah, they do have a tunnel, but it's not for sharks. It's for something else.
Yeah.
But they also have a million sea creatures there, so sharks aren't a priority at some point. They do have the giant tank though, which is cool, which I think is all the sharks are in. So they have like that giant fat tank, and people like there's literally like stadium seating. You can just watch the sharks do their thing.
They are sharks. That shark.
Yeah. The only thing I hate about the Marine World shark place, or Six Flags now, is I hate the sharks that hang out at the bottom. Fucking asshole sharks. They like won't come in the middle where it's easier to see. You have to like go to the glass and then look down, and there's like a shark down there.
That's when you realize how thick the glass is because it's warped and weird and stuff. I like that they have a whole wall that shows you the scale of the creatures.
Oh yeah,
it's like the fucking whale shark just folds around multiple corners as it goes down the hallway. And you're like, all right, that's a little hard to tell at that point, but the point is it's real big.
I think the coolest aquarium I've ever been to in my life was in Osaka. The Osaka aquarium is really cool because they do a thing where the aquarium is, you enter the aquarium from the top, like you don't realize it, but you're entering the aquarium from the top, and it just goes down. Just deep. And as you're going down, you're walking down a pathway, and in the center of that pathway is a giant tank filled with a million fish that won't eat each other, I guess. And then on the sides you have other things, like here's some sharks, here's some sea otters, here's some whatever. But like as you're going down, there's like this one giant tank, and the deeper you keep going, the more unique the fish are, because it's like, well, yeah, these are the fish that like to hang out closer to the top where it's sunny, and now these are the fish where they like it dark. And it's like, this is odd. This is like an odd experience, because you just, every time you'll look over to your left or your right, you're like, huh, that's a weird looking fish. What happened? I thought we were just looking at regular fish. And then you just look to your left and you're like, but there's a walrus. you're like, all right. Also, like all of their big animals, like sea lions or even a walrus. Yeah, they're all exposed tanks. So they're like, you could just, like, we can't touch them because it's like just the right, well, okay, that's inaccurate. If you're a Japanese person of average height and build, you cannot touch them. If you're an American skeleton, you can almost touch them very easily.
Now a Nickelodeon American Skeleton.
I was not prepared for that because I saw like a
you'll be aired like right after the Jake Long Dragon show. You'll be the American Skeleton.
Look, it's not my fault. I have like my arms are almost the size of most Japanese people. So like it was like I looked over and I was like, oh, they just don't have a top to this this tank for a sea lion. I was like, okay, so I just put my arm over it and like I could just almost touch the sea lion. There's like people looking at me in like amazement, like, how could you almost touch that? It's like, you can't touch the sea lion. It's too far. It's like, I can do it though. I am crazy.
They're looking at you like you're that one giant man that's in like Addams Family and a few other movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like his body just keeps going.
Yeah. It's the only downside is I didn't realize that they have for the sea lion specifically, they had like a weird thing where ice comes down to like keep it cool for them. And I didn't realize that happened. So I like stuck my hand out and like a giant clunk of ice just like smacked the top of my hand. I was like, ah. I was like,
I thought you were going to say like, what I didn't realize is that the sea lions haven't had their shots.
I think I'm trying to think like the only animal that wasn't available for me to like just grab and go with was like a penguin. Which I was kind of disappointed because the penguins are like
I feel like a lot of them would have something to say if you tried to just grab and go with them.
Well, but I'm saying like I can't grab and go with a sea lion. They weigh too much. You can't just pick it up. But a penguin is like the dog weight. They weigh like as much as my dog does. I could just grab it with one hand and take it and go.
Just
like,
grab it by the neck. Pathetic. Just walk out with it. The Americans are claiming its kill.
Just imagine like I walk up to the penguin place, I look at them, I'm like, open the borders. The penguin's just like, no, no. And just like stick my hand in, open the borders, and just grab a penguin.
I got tricked into going on a roller coaster once, and I can still feel it.
What does that even mean? What do you mean you can still feel like you just feel the like you're getting like non-flashbacks but the jolting to left and right when you're hitting the current
I genuinely can recall the feeling of that roller coaster, and I'm like, I don't need to go on a new one.
Really? That's interesting to me that you don't like roller coasters.
It left an imprint. I don't like heights. Or being strapped into a weird thing that's like a terrifying nightmare.
Okay. Also, I mean, I was going to say, I can get the like terrifying nightmare thing, but the heights thing is
you feel like you're suspended by like a child seat while flying through the sky towards metal bars and stuff like that.
Well, those are...
Well, crossed with not being cool with heights.
I mean, the heights thing, I guess, is weird to me because I don't see... When I'm in a roller coaster, I don't tend to look down, if that makes sense. Like,
You don't have a choice in some cases.
Well, I mean...
Especially all those roller coasters where you're just getting into a weird harness and you're not even sitting on like a wooden like track thing.
I don't ride those because I have, again, by living so close to Six Flags, I have heard
about all the deaths?
All of the deaths. All of them. And most of them are from those.
So you just want to ride like the wooden one?
No, well,
where you're just sitting in like a track that has seats.
Let's be calm here. What kind of wooden one? How old is the fucking thing?
Well, I'm talking about the giant wooden one that's at Six Flags.
No,
that one that is like.
You're talking about Roar?
Sure.
I think it's Roar you're talking about.
I don't know. The one I'm talking about the one where you sit down in like 2x2.
Basically, yes, I like sit down roller coasters. Yeah. Yes, I don't like any roller coasters at Six Flags because they're all risky. Except for that one that like
it's the Cartman theme park.
Yeah,
it's all scary.
Yeah, the only one
I just go there for the Dippin' Dots and the water ride and the animals.
The Dippin' Dots,
all the animal tours and the weird fake dinosaur park that's just there. It's just a weird park you walk through.
No, that was
that was way cooler as a kid.
Well, because when you were a kid, they had the ride or they had the 3D thing. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's just gone now. Huh?
Yeah, because
is that whole area still there? I haven't been to Six Flags in like
that whole area
8 years.
Is there, but
it's just a walk
still
now?
Just dinosaurs. And I was like, what the? There's no dinosaur thing anymore. Now it's like weird movie tie-ins, because it's Six Flags.
They don't even have a dragon. I can go to that hill in the middle of town and they got a dragon there.
What are you talking about, Andrews Park?
Is that Andrews Park? No. Andrews Park is like, no. I'm talking about like the place where everyone goes to for the fireworks.
Andrews Park?
Is that Andrews Park?
That's my park, yeah.
That's my park.
It's my park. The one on Main Street.
So it's like way the hell across town.
Yes.
Oh, I thought Andrews Park was the one that I don't go to because they say crime happens there sometimes.
No, that's the one here
around the corner. Yeah, I thought that was called Andrews Park. But
No.
it's not. Okay. Yeah.
That's my park. That's
your park,
that's literally the park I live nearby. Is the one that has crime.
Yay!
But my park has.
Andrews Park has a dragon. I thought that was cool for about 3 years.
It also has a Shakespearean amphitheater.
It does.
That I've literally never seen anything performed on.
Yeah, well, I assume you've never gone there for that purpose either.
Well, no, but I'm saying I've been there for when they do like the carnival. They have a carnival that shows
I'm
up.
always there for fireworks and stuff, and by which I mean other people are there for fireworks, and I'm with them.
Yeah,
usually
the 4th of July stuff.
I've been over fireworks for so long.
I've been over them.
I'm like, it's fine. All right.
Yeah, I think it would. I wouldn't mind fireworks so much if it wasn't for the fact that
The special effects suck.
Well, yeah, but I think one because I have a dog, so
Oh yeah, that sours you on fireworks pretty hard.
Yeah, it's like if you went to a war veteran who has PTSD and you just started like popping off like gunshots next to them.
We went out to the fireworks thing in the middle of town, and our dog was at the house. And when we came back, the inside of the garage door, because they had a doggy door that lets them into the garage.
Yeah.
The inside of the garage door, like the screen door, was just covered in blood.
Yeah.
Because they were just clawed until they were bleeding on the door. I'm like,
yeah.
All right, man. This happened. You encounter this like 3 times a year, and you're like 12. So it's like that's a lot of times.
It's different just because of how they perceive sound so much differently than us. Where our eardrums are like deafening that sound a lot more than a dog is. Like the dog sound is hearing it like full capacity, and that must be hell on earth because we're just doing it like keep doing it, launch them. And it's like the dog's like
all the time I would just stay home and just hold my dog basically because there's just like this like 100-pound Labrador just losing its mind and just trembling in a corner, and I'm like, I can't make him stop. This happened across the whole country. This is like what is it? The Purge. Or dog ears. I've also being around your dog has severely diminished my expectations for dogs' ability to learn. Because I've just been around when you're like, oh, and you're left for a bit, and Shadow will just sit there on top of the couch and stare at the door for hours.
Yeah.
Until you come back and not do anything else. And I'm like, why? Like, go back to exploring the backyard and shit like you're doing when he's here. Even like when you're here, he'll just like wander around and do whatever the fuck. But the moment you're gone, he's like on vigil in case life is over or something.
I think and
it never changes, and it's been years.
Yeah, he's under the impression that like the moment I leave, life ceases.
Yeah,
and it's like my only worry is I don't know what he'll do when I do leave. Mm-hmm. Like actually not come back for a while. Like when I move,
planning on moving out of the country.
When I move away, like he can't just stay there forever.
It's gonna be doggy depression for like a week of just sitting there.
When I was
he might never leave. He might be like Seymour.
I think he will be. When I was gone in France, he was. He did not leave
a whole week.
For a whole week, he basically stayed at the couch except to get down and eat and drink, and then would come back and sit at the couch again. My sister was like, he wouldn't sleep with us. He would just wait there for you. And I was like, well, you're going to have to deal with that.
Rough. Because you weren't even here when he moved in, were you? Didn't they get Shadow when you were living in Sacramento?
Nope. I got him.
Oh. But that whole time you were in Sacramento.
I was living here for a year when we had him.
How did he take to you being gone for like a year?
He wasn't attached to me. He was attached to my mom.
Oh.
Because it was her dog. So when
how does he act when you take him when other people have him? Like,
depends.
Don't your grandparents take him and stuff?
He likes being at my grandparents until the hype dies down. Until he goes like, okay, well, I've had fun hanging out with him. It's been great. I'm gonna go home. Wait, where'd he go? And then he lays down in front of the door. He lays down in front of the door at your grandparents' house?
Yeah. Okay, your dog might be unusual for dogs. Actually,
it's okay. My dog has like well, for one, I've been at home every day.
I know for a fact that Angel would not just sit around all the time while we were gone because she would dig fucking holes. She was busy. She had like dens all around the backyard that she could lay in to be like slightly underground a little bit, which I think is supposed to be a weather thing for like the heat and stuff like that.
Cool you off.
Yeah. Like we have plenty of overhangs, and we have like the garage she has access to, and we had like
those are human things.
Multiple locations that she had shade and stuff like that. But she would go out into the sunlight and dig a hole to lay in, which I think the mud helps. But yeah, she would just do that all the time. Yeah. So she clearly wasn't just staring at the door all the time.
Yeah, I think it's because because Shadow's so spoiled with the idea that I'm here every day, and because since I work from home and I don't leave.
He's not used to you leaving every day.
He's not used to me leaving ever. If I do leave, it's like it's an event. Like, why did he go? Where is he going? Like, it just it baffles him.
Daddy's got to get more fire sticks.
Yeah, it's like something about me leaving is like unusual for him. But I mean, and it was like that even with my mom, where he wouldn't be depressed if she left. He would just come into the garage and hang out and just wait. And then when she got home, he was like, oh, yeah, she's back home. Great. But, like, for some reason, he has this, like, some kinetic bond with me where he has to, like, he needs to be around me. And
clearly, he just doesn't love your sister enough.
No. And which is funny because I'll sleep and I'll wake up and he's not in my room. I'm like, where'd he go? And he's just sleeping in her room. I'm like, well, what the fuck? So you don't care when I'm asleep. Like, the moment I pass out, he's like, well, he's here. He'll stay here. I can roam about freely. But, like, the moment... Like, right now, he's not in this room.
Yeah.
He's doing other things.
Not around.
Yeah. But the moment... if I got up and I put my shoes on, freaking out. He'll be sitting there looking at me like, please don't leave. I don't know what happened. We can work it out. Can I come with you?
Sorry. I didn't mean it.
Yeah. Usually he sits there in anticipation waiting for me to tell him he can come with me. And sometimes I will bring him with me because it makes him feel better. But, yeah.
Makes him not lose his mind?
Yeah, and I also just feel bad sometimes because the moment I leave, like the moment I close the door and lock it, he just starts screaming bloody murder. And I just feel bad.
Jesus.
Like, because I feel bad that it's like, I mean, I'm going to be gone for like a minute.
He's so unfazed by other people because I'll come in sometimes and he'll freak out for a second and then it's not you.
Yeah.
And so he goes right back to staring at the door and I'm just in a house with this dog that's staring at a door and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So
I've never seen another dog that like just doesn't give a fuck.
It's just that is
there's some weird instinct level going on there.
Yeah,
that's he can't get past.
No, I mean at its core that is like the truest bond is that we are like a pack, and it cannot be broken.
But it will.
Well, it won't because I won't be dead. But
he's just gonna feel you from afar.
Yes. I'll just get one of those camera things that you can like put treats in and then you can show your face on the screen and be like, hello, dog. And then you can give him a treat.
And he'll just lose his mind. He'll break it probably.
Probably, yeah.
He'd probably just break it eventually. Like, where is he?
He did get, he gets upset because he doesn't like, he has a weird thing where he doesn't like looking at phones.
Yeah.
He, for some reason, he doesn't like phones or phone screens. He gets like really skittish about it where he's like, no, don't point it at me. So like,
it's just weird.
Yeah. But so when I tried doing FaceTime basically with my sister when I was in France, and he wouldn't he would just like turn his face away from the screen, like he won't look at it. But like but the moment I would say something and he could hear it, he'd be like, "Where is he?"
But also,
but he won't look at the screen. And I'm like, "I'm right. Look at the damn screen." And he just like, "But where is he?" And like, look at the. God damn it. It's like an old person where you're like, grandma, the screen. She's like, huh? Are you in the bathroom? No, grandma, the screen. Like,
how do I turn this off?
Yeah, but he's very, I imagine I'll just have to do that every now and again when I move. I'll just have to check in with him and be like, hey buddy, I'm still alive. And he'll be like, oh, thank God. When are you coming home? And it's like, bye.
One way to really fuck with your sister would be to set up like speakers around the house that will just like periodically make your voice play in like different rooms, and Shadow will freak out and sprint over there and like just ruin your sister's day.
I feel like that's kind of fucked up to the dog though. Like I don't want to like really, yeah, that would be fucked up. The one thing I remember I had to do was I had to be very stern about was my sister she would sometimes be a fucking cunt and she would ask my dog like, where's your mom? Where's your mom? And he would kind of sit there and be like, where, and then be sad because he knows she's like not there anymore. And he would get excited going like, oh, and then like thinking she might be home from work, and then realize like, oh wait, no, she never is coming home, and then would be depressed. And I was like, would you fuck off? Like, why are you doing that?
So your sister would tease your dog about your mom's death?
Yes.
Afterwards?
Yes.
So your whole family's just kind of fucked up.
Yeah. And I would get so mad. I'd be like, don't fucking do that to him. That's fucked up.
You're not just the odd one. It's just I don't know your sister enough to know the way she's fucked up.
Look, it's you can't think me. You can't think I am an irregularity here. Like it's just I'm too fucked up to be like, no, it can't be just this one lone wolf here. It's like the whole clan must be fucked up. That's how it is.
So anyway, once upon a time, I was accidentally tricked into a roller coaster ride.
Wait. Oh yeah, you're telling me.
We never discussed that.
How do you get tricked into a roller coaster?
When they're in disguise.
I mean, okay.
So I was at Universal Studios.
All right. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, carry on.
Did you guess the ride already? Mm-hmm. So I rode the Jurassic Park ride, which is a surprise. Because the Jurassic Park ride is like a metaphor for the movie. Because you're like having it's just a really chill like raft ride.
Yeah.
Where there's a bunch of dumb animatronic robot dinosaurs everywhere being like, I'm a dinosaur, and my head moves a little bit, and that's it. And you wander down a road, kind of.
Yeah.
I think you're even on a track the whole time, or you might be on a road. You might be a raft that latches onto a track eventually.
You're on a pseudo track. So, you've never been to Disneyland. It's a small world where I went
to Disneyland when I was like 8.
Yeah.
So my dad currently views that as wasted money because I don't remember any of it.
Yes. You never bring a child under the age of like 10, 11 to Disneyland because they won't fucking remember it.
But childhood.
Doesn't
Happy
matter.
Childhood.
It doesn't matter because you can bring them to any fucking amusement park.
It probably doesn't matter, no.
You can literally bring them to fucking like the zoo.
I've literally never tried to go to Disneyland.
That's probably for the
best.
All
of my teenage years or adult years or anything. Like, it's just never been like, I want to go to Great America and Disneyland and go to Southern California to do a slightly different version of this experience I'm not really that into anyway.
Yeah. But so you were on the Jurassic Park ride.
Yeah, which for the longest time is just a river raft thing.
Yes.
It's like it's a small world practically, but with dinosaurs everywhere. And then out of nowhere, it turns into like what feels like a 300-foot drop. Just straight down.
Yeah.
It's like a T-Rex pops out and you go down. And it's just horrifying.
I was on the opposite end of that. if it makes you feel better. I was shocked by the sheer amount of fucking water that comes out when you fall. Because as a kid, I didn't ever know what the Jurassic Park ride was. And I thought it was like Disneyland has Splash Mountain, where you just, it's a waterlog ride, and then you get to the very top, and it just drops you like 300 feet. And that's it. But at Disneyland, there's such a distance from the drop zone that when people see you, you're just like, there's a person dropping, and then that's it. So I went up to the rail, and I was like, there's people dropping, and it's just like a fucking torrent of water.
You just get down.
Yeah, and I was like, oh no, the ride punishes the viewers too. It was over.
Have you done that ride?
Yeah. But a little too late because you go to the ride and they sell ponchos there. And I was like, well, what the fuck do I need this for? Like, I already got the worst end of it. But
I can only compare the experience to like the ending of Toy Story 3 where they go in and they just see the like, oh, that's where we're gonna die.
Yeah,
like there's the death hole where we're gonna die. Like that's you just doing this ride and out of nowhere you just look down at this impossible drop.
Oh, especially if you don't like heights. It sounds amazing.
I had an actual moment like in A Way Out where where vision is warping.
Yeah.
Like it feels like an impossible height. And you're like, we weren't this high. What the fuck? Like this is how high we were. Are we thinking with portals? Like what the fuck?
Yeah. And they trick you with the water ride because you're going up at a degree that you don't notice because it's ever so slightly.
But also there's the trap of like First of all, you're going down so fast, you physically feel yourself lift off the seat.
Yes. And those seats are not built for you to be stuck into them like a roller coaster. They're just like a bar that comes down, so you literally feel yourself like,
float in the air above the seat, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
But also, I just remember specifically having my eyes open at first, then having them closed, and then having the thought, I'm still falling. Like, it just keeps going.
It does.
And then finally crash water and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, that leaves an imprint.
Yeah.
That rush, especially when you're not expecting it. There's no visual preparation for how severe that is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because when you walk up to the ride, you see the splash zone. But it's just a little, like, it's all within, it looks like a barn. Like, it's completely enclosed with shit, and you can't see what the dimensions of the ride are in any way. All you know is that at some point at the end they go, Voosh. I'm like, I know what Pirates of the Caribbean is. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Which is probably that's probably why I don't like roller coasters or any, like, things that have falls in them. Is I was on Pirates of the Caribbean when I went to Disneyland, and that's the only thing I remember.
Really? That was Pirates of the Caribbean is the ride. My grandma's the same way. She she hates roller coasters.
Yeah.
And the thing that actually got her onto that track of like, I fucking don't tolerate roller coasters is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Because of that one first drop where it tricks you, where it goes like, it's like, darn me mateys, you're ready for a ride. All right, buckle your boots and let's go. And you're like, okay, weird pirate shit. What? Fuck. And you're just like, everything's great.
It's like, oh, it's just a weird sideshow thing that's happening around us, and then it's like weird drops happening in darkness.
Yeah.
it's like the whole ride's a bamboozle, and this is like a weird kidnapping venture.
It is.
Where you just go into a truck and they take you.
Because you start Pirates in like the most mundane Florida bayou ever, where it's like, now there's like literally a guy stringing a little banjo animatronic, and you're like, this is a stupid kid ride, I guess. And then you see a skull, and you're like, oh, that's funny, and just you're gone. And there's another point it does it too, where you're like, oh, I get you think you get this like, okay, I'm hardened. I've just experienced
those feelings of like going around on a track, then a door opens to like a 45-degree angle, like into darkness, and you're like, I don't know where we're going or what's going to happen, and I'm 8.
That was my first roller coaster in my life was at Disneyland, but it wasn't Pirates, it was Space Mountain. And I remember like my father was like, well, let's go on Space Mountain. I was like, well, that's a ride that's really dark. You know, it's all pitch black. You can't see literally anything. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. That's kind of scary. And he's like, okay, I understand. And so we started walking because it's in like the space area or whatever, like Tomorrowland. And so it was like, I want to go look at the convention. He's like, okay, let's do that. So we're walking that way. And he goes like, oh, I forgot something. I was like, what did you forget? And he grabs me by my neck and he goes like, I forgot to ride Space Mountain. And he just takes me onto Space Mountain. And great father. So he sits me down on it and
just grabs you by the neck. Pathetic.
Yeah, pretty much. And he sits me on it, and it's too late. We've strapped in, and it's really bright in the first area. And I was like, oh, okay. So I like was kind of nervous. Like, okay, well, as you know, it's pretty bright. I guess it's okay. Yeah. The moment you pass through the first, like in the dark area, you're like, well, this is kind of creepy. And then you hit the drop. You're like, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
My body can't prepare for a thing it doesn't know, and it's like, and the rest of the ride is just like left, right,
thing it doesn't know.
Yeah, and you can't see any of it, so you're just flying at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and all you see is white blurs, and you're like, I think I'm just dying. Like, I just don't get it. And
am I sliders?
Yeah, and then the end is like a terrible tube of flashing lights, of like strobe lights, and you're like, I wish I had a seizure so I could forget.
Is Space Mountain based on Space Odyssey or anything?
No, it's just based on being a shitty astronaut and flying a spaceship incorrectly, I guess. It looks, I think it's...
I've only ever been on roller coaster type things that are like pretend surprises.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's an indoor thing that turns out to be a thing. I have literally never gone on an open air roller coaster thing because I'm like, no, I can see it. You can't trick me.
Yeah.
I haven't even gone on a Ferris wheel.
Really? You don't like Ferris wheels because of the heights either?
Yeah.
Interesting, because you can't really see down from like in the same perspective.
You can see enough, I'm pretty sure.
I guess it depends on the Ferris wheel.
I'll go on like the Gravitron or like the weird like that really fast, like there's 3 prongs spinning, but the 3 prongs also have 3 prongs that have 3 seats on them. Like I'll go on that shit, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this shit. I'm gonna go on the Gravitron. I'm gonna go upside down on the wall. Fuck it. But I'm not.
I hate that fucking thing.
I'm cool with that shit.
How?
I don't want to go up. I don't want to go up. It's everything else is fine. I love the. I genuinely enjoy enough to do it multiple times. The river raft at Marina World. Where you just go up then you wait through the obnoxiously long line, and you get in it's a circular like bumper car style thing where it seats like 6 people, and that has no control over which direction it's going to be facing as it goes down. No, not really. It has is it just a lazy river? It has rush moments where it's like ooh whoosh, like there you go down.
Okay, that's
here
what it
a little
is.
more like
all right.
I ski. I can take going down a hill a little bit here and there.
People can shoot you.
Oh yeah, there's water guns.
There's water guns.
I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, hunters. I was making a crossover about deer hunting and ski resorts.
Yeah, they have the water guns that you could.
A horrible accident. Sonny and Cher didn't actually run. He didn't hit a tree. A hunter got him. He thought he was a deer on skis.
Yeah, they have what's it called? Yeah, they're the water guns, and you can actually hit people with them.
They charge money for.
They do.
You have to put a quarter in or something, and then you can sit there and press buttons to shoot water at people that are trying to go down the ride. Yeah. It's like, you thought you weren't going to get wet, huh?
It's interesting because I think Disneyland California has a rapids ride, but they added a giant drop to it.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, that's why in my head, I was like, how could you ride that ride?
No, it's just rocking around a lot and spinning, and some of you get these, and it's every time it's a Russian roulette of who's going to be the one that's on the side of the raft that goes up the waterfalls. Because the waterfalls are randomly placed, and the thing rotates differently every time, just chaos theory nonsense physics.
Yeah.
And it's just, you don't know. Sometimes everyone gets waterfalled. Sometimes one guy gets waterfalled 6 times. And it's great.
Yeah. Those...
I'm not against rides. It's just there's such a fixation with roller coasters that they're 80% of the rides.
Well, it's thrill. It's the most thrilling.
Aren't they the same? Are they different?
They are different. My only thing about roller coasters, there's only a couple of things I don't like, and one of them is upside down.
Yeah.
I don't tolerate people I don't mind going really fast, hitting corners that are clearly too fast, and doing the ups and downs. Mm-hmm. I don't like people giving the middle finger to gravity. Because I feel like gravity will bite you at some point, and it will find a way. I don't know how, but it will. And I've seen too many. Six Flags.
That's why I like to stay near the ground where no one dies on those rides.
I've seen
unless they walk into them or something.
Yeah.
I don't.
Some people fall into them. Some people fall off of them.
I think of that one at Six Flags where it's a roller coaster, but it's an indoor thing, and all it does is go in a small circle and go really fast up and down. I don't think anyone's died on that.
No,
but that gives you this the similar feelings you are going for from a roller coaster, because you're going up and down hills really rapidly and shit, but you're not going 100 feet into the air and being let's roll the dice.
I remember going to Disneyland with my father, and there's a ride there called the what is it, the railroad something shit. I don't remember the name of it now because I've never ride it. It's basically what you're talking about, where it's but it's it's a roller coaster, but it doesn't go high or anything. It just goes in a circle, basically.
Yeah. And
it's just really fucking left and right jarring. It will almost hurt you at some point because it's just too much. And I remember going, and I went with my family, and my father had kidney stones. He had severe pain on one of the days.
Let's just shake some of these loose.
Yeah, and we went to the doctor, and the doctor was ride the fucking ride. It will get rid of your kidney stones. And the guy, I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking? And he's not lying. My dad was seriously better from it. And the ride is just throwing you left. And so he just sat in his own seat and just took it all. He didn't care. He just took every hit as hard as he could. Fine. Didn't have any kidney stones no more. But I mean, his bruise is fuck on both sides, but he was fine. He was like, oh, I don't have to do that. I was like, I mean, weighing my options, I'd rather be hurt. I'd rather have bruises than a kidney stone, but
I mean, probably.
But that's insane to me that you built a ride like that. Why would you build a ride that jarring it can unhinge kidney stones? What the fuck?
Terrifying.
It's
what is it? I actually won a bet of sorts because of the Gravitron.
Oh.
Because mixed with the fact that I just don't seem to get motion sickness.
That's handy.
like ever. Like I've been reading and playing video games in cars my whole life.
Yeah, same here.
Up until I became an adult and then was driving them, and then that never happened again.
And then I was driving and playing video games at the same time.
Like that whole part, I'd always be reading manga or playing Game Boy or something, and it was just not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like so many people get motion sick for so many things, or like we go on like these fishing trips and I'm like, I'm bored because I'm fishing, but the boat doesn't bother me. And everyone else is like, I'm dying because boat, and it's like rocking and it's storming. Like and everyone's like dying from motion sickness and everything, and I'm like whatevs. And so we were doing a thing of like who could do the Gravitron the most times in a row, and it just wasn't phasing me.
That's impressive.
And I'm just like, whatever. And everyone else was like, they can't do it anymore. And like, I'm like, am I melting now? And like all these other things. And I'm like,
I think the one time I did the Gravitron, it was another one of those, like the upside down. Like I didn't get the motion sickness from it. It was I just have a thing about gravity. And like, I saw people standing up because it gets to a point where it's so fast. Or like, you could just stand up and it's fine because it's like, you're going so fast, like it's pushing you against it. I was like, this is not okay. You're like defying something, and something's gonna punish you at some point. And like
not really though.
No, it doesn't.
It won't, because
by the time you start slowing down, it's fine.
Well, that's the thing. Like it's such a straightforward thing about physics is that it can't suddenly stop.
Yeah,
which is the only way you'd fall.
Well, no,
I just suddenly stopped.
I just mean
it can only stop gradually. At which point it's like, oh no, I'm kind of leaning, and it's like at burst you would like not get in position in time and kind of like awkwardly
slide
end up on the floor.
Yeah,
but like you're not gonna fall over or anything.
No, I was
way more worried that the fact that you're at a carnival and it's a carnival ride, so the whole thing might just explode or something.
That's what I mean. Like gravity will find a way.
Like, my biggest complaint about those things is the fact that the music's just deafeningly loud.
Yeah,
every time in a Gravitron, and I think that's because they want to hide all the machine sounds.
Oh yeah, those machines.
Because those things, it's gotta sound horrible when it's running without music.
When you hear it from the outside, it's kind of like just terrifying to look at too. Yeah. Where you're like, this could just go bad. Like I think amusement park rides are just, if you look from a third party perspective.
How many deaths do we get at the Dixon Mayfair?
Enough.
Do we have a count?
We do.
Check out the newspapers.
There is actually a tally.
Is there a tally?
Yeah, they do keep tallies of that. There's what's it called? There's like something like if you were.
How many of them are people going to the rides, and how many of them are employees bludgeoned to death because of all the bullshit ring toss things and stuff like that?
I don't think.
Where somebody finally just snaps at all the really bullshit games.
I mean, at least they're not. It's not like as bad as Six Flags, where they have have an entire almost baseball stadium.
We set up mirrors to lie to you.
Yeah, but but Six Flags has like literally a soccer field size of just carnival games, and you're like, this is just welcome to scam. Like it's like the blight town of fucking scams, where you're like, no matter where you look, everyone's stealing your money.
I remember what I used to get as a kid. I got so hyped about this one thing that was always at like carnivals and stuff, because they'd have like that one trailer they drag around that is like, it's basically like a shiny futuristic like legend, like a City of Tomorrow version of like Hidden Temple.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's got the weird step things that are moving around, and the Hall of Mirrors, and like 500 different moving parts everywhere.
And like the door is like a spin, or the exit's like a spinning thing.
It's just like a really weird, like powered obstacle course thing.
Yeah.
And as a kid, that's the hypest shit.
It's cool.
That is like the coolest thing.
As an adult, it's so cool.
It's not bad.
No.
You're definitely suddenly more aware that this is literally like a trailer they drag around from one place to place. So like, oh yeah, I can see like the hitch and everything. Like this is just on wheels.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, you don't question how there's just weird stand-up buildings everywhere in this non-building area that's just in a dirt lot.
It's also like, as an adult, you realize like your motor skills are way too fine-tuned for this ride a lot, like suddenly, where you're like, oh, as a kid, like the only advantage you have is
running it.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I went on one. I think I walked on one when I was older once, and I got to the powered step part, and I was literally just moving one foot at a time, and they would meet each other. And so it was like a platformer level.
Yeah.
It's like the two sides would be staggering and stuff like that, but there'd always be a point where the two steps are level with each other. So I'd literally just put my foot slightly out and back in to adjust to the new step each time, and I was literally not bending my knees, and I'd go up the whole staircase.
Yeah.
Like, well, this is an interesting experience. It's like an automatic ladder. Whereas a kid, it's like, whoa, this is crazy. How do I get up
Yeah.
this? And it's like, no, this is Mario.
Yeah, everything becomes really like, as an adult, you start realizing like everything I could not fathom as a child is now just second nature to me as an adult.
Yeah.
Except for, you know what, the only thing isn't second nature for people is the fucking things at the airports. Those Jetsons sidewalks, the escalator,
They're called moving sidewalks.
sidewalks, I think, or whatever.
When they're just flat.
People don't get them. They just don't get it. They don't understand what they're there for.
Because they stop on them.
They stop on them.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be stopped on. For those of you not...
It's meant to make you get somewhere faster than walking normally.
Yes. For those of you who are aware, an escalator is something you can stand on if you are an asshole. But an escalator is not meant to be stood on. It's supposed to be climbed on because the idea is that it's taking you to the destination faster than walking up static staircases.
To be fair, I think most people stand still on escalators.
They do, and it's just
Whereas
become accepted.
fewer people stand still on moving sidewalks.
But here's the thing. When you're standing on any kind of automatic moving platform,
yeah.
make room for people who aren't you. Mm-hmm. You need to not stand in the way.
Which is an airport problem because everyone has bags. And
Yes,
shit like
but
that
you can
everywhere.
put them behind you.
Yeah.
And but it's hilarious to see people who are unaccustomed to them because they'll walk on those things
And they'll like lurch.
and then the moment that they're no longer on them, like the moment they walk off of them, they start realizing like, I'm literally moving too fast. Like, I'm walking way too fast for no reason. And they, like, I see them do the thing where they're like doing a cartoon, like, woo, woo, woo,
The speed transition feels really weird especially when you have a bag and everything.
Yeah.
It's just like you're suddenly moving at a different speed when you get to the end of it, and it's just wrong. It reminds me of the feeling of playing like Guitar Hero for too long or Rock Band, and then like you look at a wall and you see the wall crawl.
Yeah.
Like, it's that kind of weird distortion
Yes.
of how you see things.
It's an
Like,
experience.
if you haven't done it before, that's a real thing that happens. If you
Yeah.
play music games that have that scrolling the highway and you play them for too long, you will look at something else and see it move when it's not moving.
Yeah.
It's like a weird, impossible optical illusion where you swear you see it moving continually, and yet it's not actually stretching
because your eyes are set to keep going up and down.
You're seeing like a fake motion somehow.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's weird, but it's just, yeah, I don't know, that kind of shit infuriates me. I hate people who just don't know how to use those things.
Well, I could have
properly.
never predicted where this podcast was going to go. We were like, I don't even have topics or whatever. Like, we got questions, I guess, or whatever. I'm like, let's go. I literally like...
You started off with a Ramones
I
song.
half-assed referenced them Ramones, and we went to Santa Cruz, to theme parks, to emotional abuse of animals. It's back to theme parks.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
And we're already like an hour in.
So let's see. Let's do some questions then.
We've looked at some of these, and these are like questions we've already answered before.
Yeah.
Like recently.
Yes. So let's see. This is by Catboy Connoisseur. I've fallen into a dark place. So what's the worst relationship you ever been in? Why do I gotta go there into a dark place with you? What happened?
Misery loves company.
I guess.
Catboy company.
Speaking of,
you invited this. He's here because of you.
well, at least he knows what he's supposed to do.
Nick Ojishi player. You caused it. I'm not talking about your dog. That he's not on camera. That means he doesn't exist.
Oh, okay. So let's see. What's the worst relationship? I don't. All of them. Like, I don't really know how to explain that. Really, it's kind of like it's an unfair assessment because you're judging other relationships based on qualities and good points that other people brought that other people didn't have. And I can't really do that fairly. I can't say like, well, this person did these things that were great, but they also did these things that sucked, which is why we're not together anymore. But this other person did things that were great, but they did these things that sucked, which is why we're not together anymore.
So we already covered before the subject of like, I was in a relationship where the other person like was planning on breaking it off for like an incredibly long time and just not, and I was like getting them gifts and stuff like that, and like there's this ongoing thing where it's like we talked about this idea like it retroactively poisons things. And I think we talked about the whole subject of like how it's selfish to behave that way because you're literally just hurting somebody more in the long run.
Yeah,
for your own selfish gain of not having to deal with it, basically.
Yeah,
and that kind of stuff. My worst relationship is probably when I was transitioning from middle school to high school, and I kind of just was in a relationship with somebody because I just kind of said yes or whatever.
Have you ever been like in an official relationship?
Not generally, no.
Okay.
But like this was,
because every time you mention a relationship, you're like, in a relationship? I'm like, what? Everyone is an air quote. Do you have like an actual...
well, this one's especially in air quotes because it was talking about middle school to high school. But it's just, I have a story, so it's why I'm going with this one.
Okay.
Because it's podcastable and shit.
All right.
Because I met up...
Just wondering.
I met up with them. It was somebody I met in middle school, and they just were hype about the idea of being in a relationship or whatever.
So someone you met in 8th grade, and then you're transitioning to 9th
and we went
grade.
to high school afterwards, and that was when I'm just like, I'm so sick of this person, and they're just like an erratic, crazy, lunatic person, but also I don't want to deal with the fallout of breaking up with them. And so it became like Metal Gear High School, where I would start like finding different secret places to hang out during lunch.
So you were doing the thing that you were complaining about someone else doing, which was like not breaking up with the person?
Yeah, but also like we weren't in a... It's like... I really do put air quotes about the relationship in general. Like, we didn't ever really do anything.
You didn't agree to this?
It seems like more of like... It seems like more like I was just... It was like a high school only relationship, basically.
So you mean it was like we were when we're on
It's
campus,
like, yeah.
we're together, but
Like
the moment we leave, we don't even talk about each other.
So I don't feel like the same way about this as I when I talk about the other stuff, because like it's not like
there was no outside
it wasn't
interaction
coming up outside of high school. It was almost like a play or something. It's like play relationship.
It's
felt like.
It's like a social status.
Yeah.
Like you're putting on a
I
putting
just
on
said
airs.
yes to a thing because of probably social awkwardness anyway. And they would like weirdly dote on me and be obsessive and strange a lot. And I don't know, that's a thing that reoccurs sometimes. And I would just go away, basically.
Okay.
I kept hiding. I basically just became more familiar with different circles of friends that I already had than the one I was hanging out with before, because she was with those people and she was just fucking clingy and weird all day, and I just would go off to other places, and I was just like, I don't like. She seemed unhinged and bizarre, and like the type of person, like there was a genuine there might be a genuine concern about like leaving uncovered drinks around her and stuff like that. Like,
oh, okay.
Like, getting involved in things. I think she eventually left the high school to go get her GED like next door.
Oh, she went to the building.
So that's how she kind of disappeared eventually. But it was the weirdest stuff. I had multiple encounters where, like, what is it? At one point, I was at Andrews Park with her and somebody else, and that person was hitting on her, and I'm like, please take her. Like, just let this happen. And I think she wanted me to like fight for her or something. I'm like, this is like it's never been a real relationship, and I can't, like, I literally have not been known how to get rid of her. And she seemed odd enough that I was like genuinely thinking, like, if I break things off with her directly, like she will like lose her goddamn mind. Like, she was the strangest person, and it was literally every part about this was a mistake, basically. And I was just waiting for it to go away. It was just weird.
Yeah, that sounds... I don't think I've technically only had one person that was like that, but it was more they didn't
Also, she moved on to Joe.
Did she?
That's how I met Joe. That's the entire reason I know who Joe is because this girl tried to move on to Joe. I don't know if it happened for sure or if it was like a weird play at jealousy again or something. But that's how I know Joe in the first place. So he must have at least been aware of her and the situation on some vague level for some brief period of time, even if it never went anywhere. Just because that's the only reason I know who he is. Is that back in high school, this happened.
God, now I'm trying to think who that is.
It's Kara.
It's not helpful.
I don't know.
I don't remember the names of plebeians.
I don't know if he will even remember her at this point, because I don't know what happened or what. But it's the only reason I know him. And then he comes up again later because I started hanging out with you. I'm like, oh, it's Joe, the one who cured me of Kara at some point. Because I never saw her again.
Really trying to like figure out if I remember seeing a person, like a girl that Joe dated, that was like clearly unstable.
Yeah, I don't know. And she might be fine now. All I know is that as a middle schooler, high schooler, I was just generally...
She was just a cringy high schooler.
And I said hi. Yeah, I mean, everyone sucks back then.
Yeah.
It's fine. And some of them suck less now.
It just like... not me. It just baffles me because I'm trying to like...
you were proud of yourself You did that 8 years later meme or whatever the fuck, and you were like, "Look, I'm all better now. I hate myself less and shit." So you can't be like, you can't say not me.
Did I say I hate myself less?
You said something like that. You said you were like, "Look at that guy. Like he's all bonier now, but full of less self-hatred," or something like that. It was your post.
Yeah, like I think like 8 years ago, I wasn't full of self-hatred.
And I was looking into doing that picture, and I was like, mostly like, I don't think I even have like pictures.
Oh, that
Like I can chronicle well.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think that I still, you know what?
I don't take selfies every week.
You know what the worst part was? That I like myself. The worst part was I wasn't. That 8 years later, I still wasn't in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reveal that you've been out of school for so long that 8 years ago you were already out of school.
Yeah, because it was an 8 years later, so it was 2010 to 2018.
All those people that are doing that were doing that trend were all people that were like, there's like, oh, look how I've changed since middle school or whatever the fuck. And it's like both of us have been out of school for longer than that.
Yeah,
I was in college.
I've been out of school since 2007, so you missed me by like 3 years. So I have no excuse to be cringy at 2010.
Yeah,
but I was.
Instead, you were almost identical.
Yeah.
2010 is funny because it's like that's 1 year before all this shit starts.
Yeah,
we've been doing this for so long that it's hitting the time period of like a life-changing meme period.
Pretty much. I'm trying to think though. Like I think I think the worst relationship I've ever been in.
If you want to revisit one of Andrew's relationships, you can go way back in the Wayback Machine in the podcast playlist or on the SoundCloud.
Oh.
And you can listen to the episode called The Skeleton Key.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Where you talk about locking people out of doors, including how you ended a relationship.
She didn't
I believe Wander and Bird were there, and it was like 3 years ago.
It was,
yeah. That podcast.
No, it was more than 3 years ago.
No, the podcast.
Oh. Yeah, the podcast was 3 years ago. Yeah, I was gonna say that relationship was more than 3 years ago. I want to say that
was around the time of like FNAF being around and the dumb joke of like I survived the Chuck E. Cheese massacre and stuff like really old early podcast quotes.
Yeah,
we're getting close to 100 of these. I think
some point, someday we'll get there.
We did 4 of the original podcast.
Yeah.
Oh shit! It gets even crazier if you think about other stuff
like dual sticks.
Yeah. I don't know how many episodes of Sit and Discuss and Dual Sticks there were, but then there was 4 episodes of the podcast with Bird and Wander way back in the day. Yeah, the Sadcast. There's 4 episodes of Sadcast, 14 episodes of the Untitled podcast that was just called the podcast. And then I did like 50 or something with Bird and Wander and stuff.
The 4 nerds.
And now we're up to 10-ish on this one now, and it's like, we're getting up there.
Yeah.
None of these stick around.
No, but maybe this one will forever. Who knows?
Maybe this will be our Vlogbrothers relationship, where you live across the world and our only communication is a 2-hour podcast every week.
That would be ridiculous.
With all of the nice chemistry of being in the same room stripped away. That'll be a stark reminder of how much it's how different it is to do like the stuff we do versus the stuff I do with Wander, and what the energy levels are like, and how human interaction changes in those contexts is the moment this podcast transitions to being an online podcast.
Yeah, it will be
like it'll probably feel completely different instantly.
Yes.
It's like I don't like doing online
at least
let's plays or podcasts and everything.
You still got like 6 months of it.
It's so frustrating.
I would think my worst relationship was the one where I wasn't technically the boyfriend.
Were you like the third person?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh boy.
Yeah, where I was basically the what do they call those? I'm trying to think of the mister, I guess. I don't know, because it's like I'm not a mistress, but
I was trying to think of the term they use for like the person who sleeps with the wives of military people while they're gone. Like there's a term for that really fucked up thing.
Yeah,
was the first thing that was coming to mind.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. No, I mean I wasn't. Well, he wasn't military, but it's basically the same concept. And where I was expected to be doing boyfriend things, but I wasn't the boyfriend. And then I got to a point where I was like, wait a second, no. Like, I don't have to do this because I'm not obligated to by your contractual obligation with this other person.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't have to. And then it didn't go well.
I don't have to be your boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, then it turned a whole thing of
and then you locked her out of your garage.
No, then her boyfriend found out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that fun?
For her, I don't know. Not for me. I didn't care. I mean, he wasn't going to do anything.
Oh, just nothing.
Well, no, he was like a 5-foot kid, and I was like,
did it just go away?
No. It like a lot of people. It kind of turned into like one of those implosions where it was like part of a friend group, so everyone just kind of like kind of split apart, and people like chose sides, and nobody chose my side because I was the one that was like the side person. I wasn't the victim in that situation. I wasn't the one that like was cheated on.
You lose friends over that?
Yeah.
Oh,
but I was fine with it. I was like, yeah, it was fine. It was worth it. But what does it matter if you're that pathetically petty where you're like, oh my god, I can't believe this one person who was involved in the affair and the other person who's involved in the affair. I'm not going to pick the other person. Only this person involved in the affair. It's like both people are bad people. If you're really going to make judgments here, then I don't care about you.
Well, yeah, the girl isn't any like more.
Yeah, it's not like I raped her. It's like we both were consenting adults to an affair.
The other girl isn't somehow more innocent in the affair than the person they're cheating with. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so it's like I can't shoulder the blame because it's not like she wasn't.
You can, just not all of it.
Well. But I'm saying, yeah, I can't shoulder the whole blame.
You both have equal blame.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't have full blame. I'm not sitting here like, I was the bad guy. Like, no, we both did something bad. Like, if you're going to be that judgy and like...
Part of me does feel like the person who's in the relationship that's cheating is more guilty than the person that they cheat with. But it's still both, like, lines crossed.
Yeah, I mean, my mentality is a lot different on it, though, I guess. Because, like, I don't know. I have, like, for me it's weird because I have the thing of like I guess it's fine so long as it's like to an extent, like I don't mind the pseudo boyfriend attitude, but I don't if it goes anywhere beyond that, then I get kind of like that's kind of messed up. Like when you do anything like physical, then it becomes kind of like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. Because if it's just, hey, we're gonna go on a date or whatever, fine.
Were you literally just dating?
No, well, in the beginning it was, and then it turned into physical stuff, and then it was like, okay, well, now this is bad. That was the point when I was like, wait a second, why am I doing all this when like at any moment I'm basically like, because realistically I'm just a thing under the rug that we don't talk about kind of thing, you know, where like if we're all hanging out together, it's like I'm in love with my boyfriend, he's the greatest boyfriend ever, I'll never do anything leaving. I'm just sitting there like, I don't really understand what the entire purpose of this all is. Like in my head I was thinking,
that's like some weird head fuckery going on.
Yeah, because in my head
all around each other, the
only reason I agreed to it was because there was the stipulation that she was unhappy and that she was going to just leave that person. And not,
but then she stayed with him.
She then stayed with him, and I was like, okay, but then now it's getting to a point where it's like...
It seems like the move to go with is to actually have them break up first. Before,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Instead of doing anything
before, like like going on a date with somebody again. That's why I don't feel it's bad, is because it's still just getting to know somebody before anything's committed, which means it gives them time to break it off. But once something physical happens, it's like, okay, now make a decision. Is it one or the other? If I'm just going to be a side piece, and that needs to be the disclaimer here. You need to I don't care, but you need to be specific about it. You can't tell me, like, I'm going to go out with you when I break up with that boy, but until then, you will be second boyfriend. It's like, no. This is the way worse version of what I was talking about before, of just the idea of, like, planning a breakup, but then not just doing it for the longest time is the next layer of, like, cheating on them for a long period of time. It's like, just fucking... say it's over already and move on. Well, like, just pick one. Because people like happy endings, I will tell you that she got married to that guy and they have 3 kids.
Oh, Jesus.
So, you know, it worked out.
Is that the happy ending?
Neither of them lost the love. I don't know.
But, so was she lying about not being into it then? If apparently she stuck it out, I'm like, what?
I think what ended up happening was it went so badly that it was like it's one of those,
such a crazy level of like narcissism and selfishness to do that in the first place.
It is, but I think the problem, well, to a degree, but I think the problem is it was more or less because it became known that happened. It like it's like putting a big fat stamp on your face where you're like, I'm a cheater, and then you have to like if you try to like go and date someone
You
else
have to,
like that,
commit and prove yourself. And everything
so it was
of what
just
you've done.
So for her, it's just easier to stay with the person she cheated on if they're willing to accept her
Instead
because
of other people knowing.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
so it's again like my favorite keyword is like you just
What a depressing narrative. The idea that it's like, well, now the barrier to entry is higher, so I better stick it with you now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
it's called complacency. It happens. I will genuinely be honest. I've been out of like I think more than I think half of my relationship started because I was a person someone cheated on with. So like that's how it started with Anna. That's how it started with the person from high school. So I started with somebody else. I can't remember. Wait, which one? I don't remember her name. That's fine. I don't need to remember her name. But
my life is just made so much simpler by just not being in relationships.
I will agree because I've gotten a lot of death threats in my life and I don't really want them anymore. And
Like I literally don't even question it. Like I have not been in relationships for so long, even a little bit.
That
and
just
like I have no drive to start one.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing my life.
It's like
dealing with like bills and work and all this other shit. Like my life feels so full and busy.
Yeah.
And I literally never feel like, oh, I'm doing something wrong and I'm supposed to be doing this thing.
Yeah.
Until somebody like family brings it up. And like, you got a girl yet? And I'm like, what? I literally haven't thought about this since last time you brought this up.
I'm trying to survive. I ain't got time for bitches.
And it's not like, wow, I got to really get my life in order so I can do that. It's like I'm literally not even thinking about it.
I mean, and that's
it's always like a surprise when somebody else brings it up, like, oh yeah, relationships.
It's also a weird social obligation that other people thrust upon others is like this expectation that, well, I mean, it's the goal. It's what we talked about before, which is like it's part of the steps.
When your brother's gay, there's suddenly a pressure for you to be the one that makes all the kids happen. Because otherwise the genes pool is just over, I guess.
See, that's why you got to be like me. And you gotta wait till your parent dies, and then no one can bother you about it anymore.
So that my family has 2 kids, one of which is gay and in a relationship, and the other one which is just existing.
It's just existing.
And there's just no trajectory towards grandkids of any kind.
Yeah.
And people care a lot about that, I guess. And I'm like, I don't know. You could try again. Go make another kid, see if that one works out.
Just adopt one and then take his kids.
It's just not fair for it to be our job.
Well, it has to be our job because otherwise then those parents have literally nothing to do when they get old. That's the entire point of grandparenting.
Adopt grandkids.
People don't like kids that aren't theirs because they have weird stigmatisms about that.
No, I'm saying they adopt grandkids.
Stigmas. That's what I'm saying. They just have a weird stigma. Like a lot of grandparents.
Can grandparent age people adopt children?
I
don't know what the criteria is for adoption.
I think there's a specific.
They obviously
limit.
don't want you to be like a murderer and shit like that. Like those background check stuff.
Yeah.
Like, are you a safe parent? But like, are there age limits for adoption? Do they want you to be a healthy, normal, like 30-year-old?
I mean,
person.
Yes and no. So it depends.
Age?
It depends on the person you're adopting. If you're adopting an older child, like someone who's like 3-4 years from being like 18, they tend to not mind if you're old as long as you're not elderly, like if you're not in your 70s and about to croak. Like,
I was just wondering if like 60-year-old people are like, my kids aren't having kids, I'm gonna go adopt grandkids and just have young people you're taking care of because your life's over. And
you probably won't get approved, but you can try. I don't know. I've been told all my life that my entire obligation is to like get married, have children. It's like there's
a fixation on that, and especially like people care so much about like bloodlines and stuff like that sometimes, and like the idea of it ending at a point is like that's like insane to some people.
Yeah,
like it's like, well, you could have gone the Catholic family route and had 12 kids, and somebody would have had kids at that point.
That's why you do it.
But they just had 2. And nothing's...
And you have to deal with the consequences.
There's no projections of have kids happening, really.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not in any hurry. I don't interest necessarily.
I thankfully don't have to worry.
Literally can't. Like, there's no way to make kids fed. in my life. like if I had kids in my life, they would be so fucked. Because I'm kind of focused on the eking out any existence at all. So it's like, I don't even know how they're going to be alive.
Welcome to Earth. You will not be fed. It's like, oh.
Like, I don't have a pet. And don't really have any immediate plans to have a pet. Because I'm like, you got to just keep giving them biomass so they can stop decaying.
Yeah.
Like, it has to keep going.
Just like you, they require nutrients to survive.
I'm still working on mine.
Yeah.
I'm a little focused on that shit.
I mean, I'm fortunate that, like, yeah, even though I was built for that, I can literally say that I was built for that purpose, which was like my parents' entire raising scheme was to make me a perfect candidate to woo a lady and then impregnate her, which is like my entire prerogative. Like, it's like if you cloned a child in a lab and you're like, what, like make a robot. What is my purpose? To breed. And it's like, okay, well, fuck, I don't want to.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my God. But thankfully my sister was like, I'll take the mantle. I want family. I want husband. I want this.
I'm sorry. I just extended that scene to be the entirety of childbirth, where it's like where the butter scene and everything. It's yeah. What is your purpose? To breed. And then like you get through the whole process and you have kids and you're like off in high school and stuff. And then you're once again like, what is my purpose? To breed. Oh my God. Like, this is it. Like, that's the midlife crisis.
That's, yeah.
That second, oh my God.
Yeah. Like, that was the weird part. It was like, I was, my entire life, like, if someone had a life plan for me, like, they wrote it out on paper, it would literally be like, Andrew, born, played sports, got all A's, bagged woman, had child. I don't know. Like, question mark.
Part of this, I think, is why your parents want their kids to have kids, is because that's like the continuing line, and that's like they derive personal meaning of their life from that.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up to offload on other people.
Yes.
Like, it's my job to make it, like, have a specific series of accomplishments that make your life have more meaning, essentially.
It's, yeah, because you get to proudly go, like, these are my grandchildren and my children.
And I don't think any of it works. I think ultimately, no matter what, you're getting ready to die and you're like, I don't know if any of this amounted to anything or what this was for, and then you die. And
I can safely.
And if you're going to feel that way ever, it's not going to probably go away.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. Is like I've been around enough people who have children.
So other people having to have kids to fix your own insecurities and gaps about how you feel about your own existence is like.
And it's but the thing. I think the thing is, for me, is the reason why it never, like, I got so bitter about the life plan of being a breeding machine was the idea that, like, my family, the excuse is always like, yeah, but you'll be happy, you'll have a family and you'll love it. And I remember going like, I will never love anything I make. I will never love a creation I can make.
Probably shouldn't have kids.
Yeah, and that's why I was like,
probably not a good sign.
Because I just genuinely do not think I could look at something that I've created and go like, this is beautiful. I would go like, this is a fucking mistake. What have I done? I'm so sorry. Like, I should not have done this.
Look at it. Look what you did. It's got anxiety.
I mean, but it's not even just that. It's like there's so many, like, I reasonably cannot, like, lie to myself that I want this thing to exist. Like, I do not want to create a child. Like, I don't want to deal with an infant. I don't want, like, a screaming child to come at me, because it's like, just be like a giraffe. Exist to some degree, you fuck.
Like a giraffe.
And it's like a giraffe comes out of the fucking vagina and it can walk. A baby can't even do anything. It's like, just exist. It's like, I don't have the
like a giraffe.
It's like, I don't have the patience to deal with baby humans. They're like the most worthless creatures. Like, they are. Like, even monkey children are more useful.
It's funny because I just read a passage about this in Witcher, about this exact subject.
About how worthless human children are?
Where, like, Yennefer is talking about the concept of, like, the actual concept of, like, how, like in order for the gestation period and maximum breeding to happen within the human race, they need cities, they need walls, they need stuff like that to defend themselves. Basically, to keep all the pregnant women and babies safe.
Yes.
Because of how that entire process is so incompatible with being in the wild. And so, like, in her conclusion in universe is that that's why the ultimate villain for humanity is dragons. because dragons are the one thing that specifically poses a threat to a city.
Oh yeah.
Well, like even in the Witcher universe, everything else is like, oh, here's a vampire or here's a basilisk. It's like it's a monster in the wild that can kill a thing or whatever. Yeah. A dragon fire can level a city and cause hundreds of deaths, and it destroys civilization.
Yeah,
and so like it's because the second book is about a dragon hunt at the beginning, and that's like the focus of that. And it's like, it's just funny that it's like, I literally was just reading this exact thing about the fragility of children, and you're like, be like a giraffe.
But I mean, like, I've been around like Mackenzie's children, and
I don't have this fear because I think I don't like kids.
Yeah.
Like generally, I don't like dealing with kids. I don't even like dealing with young teenagers and stuff like that because I'm like, you need to develop.
Kind of like the Clint Eastwood stuff.
I just don't have the patience for the lack of emotional development.
Yeah.
Like, and all of their problems that are like, they feel super real. And I get that because I felt that back then to an extent too. Like yes. I was there and everything. And like even I at one point when I was, one of my really dumb blog posts I never actually did when I was doing SevSpot was I was trying to think of shit to write about because I'm like, I should create regular content for this. No people are reading this. One of them was because I had some dumb rant in the back of my head that never came to fruition because of how dumb it was so inarticulate. It was just this idea of like it's like this idea like it doesn't matter if it's not based on life experiences or whatever, like people always like older people always counter younger people's experiences by talking about how like you'll have more perspective when you're older or something. Yes. Like, or it's just young love or all these other things like, you know, like these things that they'll seem condescending and everything.
Yeah.
But then as you get older, you're like, no, really, it actually, like, it really is like the brain's so underdeveloped and not finished yet. And so many bullshit emotions are happening about things that don't make sense and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I'm under the impression that decisions you make before you're 25 are like worthless decisions, which is
fucked because at that point your life's kind of concrete already. Like yeah, that terrifies me because I've gone through the cycle now, and some of it's even been documented because like before those ages was when we started doing videos and stuff like that. Like. You are not done. You're the fucking easy bake onion.
Easy bake onion.
The easy bake oven has not gone ding, and your brain is not done yet.
No,
and you can't make decisions yet, and you're not emotionally developed yet. And it's like you really do just sort of figure yourself out and click at some point in your 20s. You're like, oh shit. It's not like your life's figured out or anything.
No,
like
you figure you out. Like that's you get the hang of you.
That's the meme everyone fucking posts on Twitter every 3 months and it gets retweeted 100,000 times because it's so relatable and shit. Is that the feeling of like looking at 50 or 40-year-old people like they got their life figured out, and then you're that age, you're like, what?
Yeah,
it was all a lie. They were just pretending.
Yeah,
like that shit. Yes. No, life getting figured out is a whole other thing. But if yourself figured out to some extent, kind of does just sort of happen at one point.
It does.
You look back at yourself a few years ago and you're like, the fuck.
Yeah.
And like so like when I'm dealing with people that are like 13, oftentimes it's like boy is it's not even like just having the patience to explain shit to them or dealing with like the state they're in, but also just like a certain degree of like there's also just a certain degree of like I can't talk you into it.
Yes.
Like look, we have to wait you into it.
Yeah, you have to
time just has to pass.
We have to put you in the
and
fucking
you will change as a person. And the only way to like that's why the like it gets better is just like an effective way of just expressing that idea.
Yeah.
It's because that's the only way to really explain to people that like so much of your life it's not just a matter of escaping how shitty high school is, but also how shitty your use are. Like your head is and your way of processing emotions and your way of viewing the life and your scope of everything is so weird at certain ages. And it's like an interesting experience of running a YouTube channel is that a lot of those emotions get offloaded on me.
Oh,
and I'm like, I can't deal with any of these. I can't collectively deal with everybody's teenage problems across like thousands of people. I'm like, and I'm not a Hallmark card person. Like I can't bring myself to just like throw up like some people will. There's some people will give you like the same polite response to like everything, and it's like they forgot your comment a moment later. It's like it's like their automated reply, like a PR manager. I can't bring myself to do that, so I usually just don't engage.
Yeah,
which might be worse, and I don't know. But
No,
it's like, there's so many weird parts about being public with so many people that you have all these weird, almost implicit responsibilities to so many people that are suddenly cropping up that you never were prepared for.
Yeah.
Like people, like talking about the issue of like how there's a discrepancy with like making content where it's like you just make the videos and then people like the videos, and then suddenly there's an expectation to be like dealing with comments. Like, if you can't deal with the comments, why'd you do this? I'm like, I'm not known for dealing with comments, but like the next layer after that, after the trolls and the shitty people and everything, is just like the weird emotional vulnerability with a lot of people that you're not prepared for, and you're like every now and then you get a comment that's like, oh, you helped me get through my hospital stay, or you saved my life with your content and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, cool. Like that kind of stuff's like that. But when it's like,
just give the thumb
no,
emoji.
I have a problem right now, and I'm telling you this and uploading this, I'm like,
thumbs up emoji.
I just make the video. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm not prepared for any of this shit.
I
don't know what to do.
I think I'm kind of in the same camp a little bit, but I can empathize with people who are feeling that sense to the point where I can give you a response that feels like I'm aware of those feelings that you're having, because I just can do that. But the problem, the second side of that problem, is I don't have the patience for it. I can empathize with you 100%.
Or the patience to have the patience over and over again.
Yes, but I cannot continually I cannot put up with something. Like, I will tell you once I will tell you the problem, like the emotions you're feeling. Don't worry about them. This is what's going to happen. We all fucking deal with it.
Which won't work,
carry on.
It can't work.
Basically. It can't work. But I'm telling you, like, I'm going to give you this answer. It's the truest, 100% answer.
It's kind of the forever answer.
Yeah, but it's...
And you can't, like...
But I'm not lying to you. It's it's the right answer.
It won't work, and it's not even their fault. It's because that's just the state they're in.
That's just the state they're in.
But the problem is all you can do is just wait.
Yeah, but once I give you that answer, I cannot be there for you anymore. I'm not going to keep repeating the same answer because you've been told once, and that's the correct answer. When your brain is ready to accept it,
it's weird to
fine.
think about, just because for the longest time before the internet, adults and children and teenagers, like, the crossover, like, wasn't there the same way.
Yeah.
It was you dealt with people whose jobs were to deal with you.
Yes.
Basically, it was your parents, and it was counselors and like high school teachers and coaches and stuff
or
like that.
Therapists or something like that.
Those are the people they're there for that on some level. And
the internet has made it so like everyone is everyone's a support group, basically.
Yeah, the internet has it like everyone in their 30s and 40s just is in chat rooms or in communities or forums or whatever that are just filled with like 12-year-olds and 17-year-olds, and it's like it's like no one's ready for this shit.
Yeah, I think the tougher part is when you have to remind yourself that it's like I think I posted on Twitter before. You have to remind yourself that sometimes it's just fine to like you do. It's fine just to say nothing, just to
That's my go-to engagement. Like, there's
it's good.
I often don't engage with my own Discord for long swaths of time because I'm just like,
if I get into it,
shit is going down right now, and there's nothing I can do,
and
really?
see, I don't have the patience. So when I see it happening, my go-to reaction is to like, I have to shut it down. You've already been told the answer. You don't get another shot at this. Like, you don't get to keep bringing this up because
it's almost certainly worse.
it is. But I don't know any other way to go about it besides just literally letting this person, like letting people throw it all out into the middle of the public. And it's like, that's fine to some degree, but it's also not, because this isn't the place for that.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is like, you have to understand that there are times.
That's the harsh thing about it, is that there is some truth to just the idea that like making your emotional baggage other people's focus all the time.
Yeah. It's exhausting.
It's like, especially since the people can't help you.
Yeah.
And it's like,
like, I feel bad. Like,
especially weird when it's like it's strangers.
Yes.
Or like not full strangers, because like at some point
it's like pseudo friends, like online friends.
It's that weird thing where like if you're doing that in the first place, you're like, I feel safe with these people or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm bringing it up. And that especially comes up with online stuff, because people are always feel safer talking to people that are like friends where it's like, that's those people. They have those names, but they're also not here.
Yeah, but they're also not in front of me, and they can't judge me.
The worst case scenario is I can just
block them.
Yeah, the worst case scenario is I can literally just stop visiting this part of the internet, and those people functionally cease to exist.
Yes.
And so, like, that's why people feel even more secure about that stuff. Like, and that's why a lot of people find relationships online nowadays, is because it's the barrier for entry is like nothing can happen at first. Essentially, it's just so safe.
You can be as vulnerable as you want. Yeah.
Like, I think my brother's last few relationships were all people he met online, basically. Probably. And it's like it's just easier.
It's more convenient
that way. But at the same time, like, it's like if everyone does that, like everyone has shit they're dealing with.
Yeah.
But also, like, teenagers have like permanent shit that they're dealing with that doesn't go away until they get older. And it's like if they bring it back every day, it's like, would it be nice if this was just like a chat room where we could just have the normal chat room stuff and not be like almost like a daily therapy session where it's like, I'm not even judging people who do that. It's like, I'm not judging them for feeling those things. It's just that I don't know if it's always appropriate to always just lean on other people with that stuff when they can't help you.
Yeah, that's my thing, is like, for me, I have like a 2-stage with it. It's like, there's the one time when you are genuinely experiencing a problem for the first time and you don't know what to do. And there's no solution for it, because a lot of the times when they're younger, it's like the solution is, welcome to being a prepubescent or prepubescent. It's like, you're just going to deal with shit for a while now.
Yeah, I remember like 3 things, probably like 3 things when I was a teenager where just having like a breakdown basically over like something I can't even comprehend why I was feeling that way. Or like why I was even putting that much weight on something in the first place.
Exactly.
And it just hits you, and it's like, it's just awful.
Yeah.
But like there's parents, and if your parents aren't there for you, which is a problem that people have, like there's hopefully like you have good friends that you can actually lean on, that like actually
real life friends
are invested on you on a more personal level than like person who also watches YouTube videos or something. Yeah. Like it's not the same engagement. And if you don't have that, like, professional help is the only actual answer, which in many cases.
Unfortunately does somewhat rely on your parents being helpful, though, because they need medical insurance and they need to bring you to the place to go
which
get.
It's its own other problem. Although there are school counselors too.
There are school counselors,
which you don't. It's a grab bag how much they'll care.
Yeah,
some of them are not great.
And some of them will listen to you, though. At the very least, if they
some of them will be that person from the movie that's like, how do I reach these kids? I'm so helpful and amazing and perfect, like some kind of saint figure.
It's
but
my thing is, like, I'm a person who genuinely feels bothered by just talking about how I feel. Like, if someone goes like, "How are you feeling, Andrew?" I am perfectly okay. Life is perfect. And it's like, that's weird. It doesn't think like it's perfect. Oh, it's not. But I'm not going to discuss anything about it. Like, because I feel like the moment I discuss it, it becomes a woe is me. I'm just grabbing for attention. Where I'm saying like, oh, my life is so difficult. Please help me through it. It's like, there'd be times where I'll say something mundane, like, oh, this annoying thing is happening in my life. It's a pain in the ass. But I'm not requiring assistance. I don't need someone to go like, it'll be okay, Andrew. I know it's going to be okay. I'm a goddamn 28-year-old adult. I know I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it'll probably be fixed or something. It's like, I'm just saying it's a thing that's frustrating me. I just want to explain, like, go, this fucking sucks. I'm tired of this thing. So, and then just get it out. But if it's something serious or emotional, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk about it. I'll deal with it myself, even if it takes fucking 10, 15 years. I'll deal with it. Because the moment I bring it up to someone else, I'm placing a burden on somebody that's unfair to them. And even if they're like a friend or a family where it's like, well, no, I want to help you. I know you're being nice, but I'm still putting a rock on your shoulder. And that's unnecessary to me. Like, I don't need to do that. And I don't care if people do it to me, but I just don't want to do it to other people, which is a weird, like, hypocritical situation where it's like
self-harming hypocritical.
Yeah, it's a self-harming hypocritical situation. Yeah, like, people can come and I will listen to anybody's problems at any time, no matter what. But the moment like I have a problem, I'm not going to tell a single fucking person because I don't want to be an asshole. But I don't think people
that's dependent on it being people you actually are invested in, as opposed to like I mean, like drive-by baggage dropping.
I've dealt with enough drive-by baggage dropping, and it's fine. I can be, like I can be empathetic. I understand where you're coming from, but the problem is with drive-by stuff, I'm not willing to like be there for the long haul. I'm not willing to I'm not going to listen to your problem multiple times. You know, like if you're having a panic attack and then I say like, hey, just do this. This will probably help. It does. And they come back the next time with a panic attack. Just search panic attack, find my steps I gave you, redo the steps. I'm not going to tell you the steps. But like if it's somebody I know or care about, I'll be there no matter how mundane the problem is. Someone could be like, oh, I stubbed my toe and it fucking hurts. It's like, all right, fam, well, let's get this fixed. Like, I don't, like I'll do whatever it takes for something even minute, or if it's something repetitive. Like if it's, I'm having this problem, it's going to be going on for a month. I just need somebody to yell at about it. All right, fine, I'll be here. Just, you know how to yell at me. It's like, that's, like I'll do that, but like I won't do that to other people. I won't do, and it's not that I don't trust them, or it's not that I don't, it's like I just don't I don't want to be that person, but that person who does it to me, I don't see negatively, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like I see, like if someone on the, like a friend of mine came and was like, I'm having all these problems. I look at them negatively for doing that. Then like coming to me and talking to me about problems. But I look at myself negatively by going to other people and giving me their problem, or giving them my problems, kind of thing. Where I like look at myself and go, like, you're a piece of shit. You can't handle your own stuff. And it's like, okay, well, fine. Fuck you then, me. It's like, but.
Whereas my life's just been bullshit, where I just don't have problems, really.
Some people don't. I mean, that's the thing.
I'm honest all the time about how I feel about everything, basically, which some people real don't like, I haven't had to deal with emotional problems or any sicknesses or life crises throughout my life, and I just don't have issues generally, which means that I haven't had to see a therapist, or I haven't
everyone plays.
I've never had to unload on people or anything beyond like levels of like,
I'm upset about
dealing
something.
with shitty roommates, basically, is like the extent of my engagement. And so like that makes me super not an expert on this stuff to begin with. So I'm a bad target for going with some of these things. I'm like, I've never dealt with any of these sicknesses beyond the incurable disease of being a teenager, where the only treatment is time, and you just have to wait it out.
I mean, everyone plays Yahtzee to a degree with life like that, where some people can just roll it, put it down. Hey, I got Yahtzee. I don't have that shit. And other people, great, and they're like, fucking snake eyes, I'm screwed. Like, there are people who get that shit, and it doesn't mean one person's better than the other. It just means one person doesn't have to do that one thing. It's like just one part of their life they don't have to,
it's just not there.
It's not part of my checklist of the daily feels, where I go like, I'm also stressed about this situation. Like, nope, I don't have that.
Because as far as I can tell, I've never had to deal with like depression or anything.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's for me is like, I don't have to deal with like phobias.
Me explaining. Yeah. I was about to say that. It's like me trying to explain fear of heights to you.
Yeah.
Where like the feeling I feel when I'm really high up or something like that is like, or like weird things where I'm suddenly like just deeply uncomfortable all of a sudden. Yeah. And you literally don't know what that is or what it feels like. Means. So you can't say anything about it or address it. And if it was a problem, you probably wouldn't know what to do with it. I don't know how it would become a problem. But if it was somehow a problem because we've been kidnapped and we're on a cliff and we're escaping or something, the fucker, you wouldn't know what to do with that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's me with depression and other things like that. It's like I'm not trained for this.
Yeah.
And I can't experience it. So
I can't. It's like hard to. And that's the thing is like
I can only even pretend to be a facsimile of help. Like I don't.
I can listen to your problem, but I cannot provide anything more than a sound, like being a talking, like a piece of wood to talk to.
So unless you have a personal relationship with the person talking, it's like I can't even draw upon like us being people that even really know each other. So it's like when I have to deal with people online that are like this, I'm like I'm just wholly unequipped in every way to deal with these kinds of things.
And that's why I'm saying, like, saying nothing at all is better than saying something, because at some point it's like those people aren't waiting for your reply. They said it, and then if you reply to it, that would be great. But they're more or less venting that situation. They're just going to the comment section. They're doing basically like comic etiquette, but like serious. Like,
that's the weirdest comparison. Also, I don't know how we got here.
We got here because of the
how do our discussions work?
I don't remember how we got here.
Get places. Was this from the relationship question?
No.
I think it ultimately was.
I mean, yes, everything was.
That's the last reboot we had.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember exactly what the catalyst was to get into there. I think we were talking about teenage. We were talking about relationships, and then we went to like teenage, and then we were talking about family plans, and then we would talk.
Every discussion we have, I can't tell if it's the most boring thing that's ever happened, or if it's incredibly engaging and real, or if it's wildly offensive. I have no idea where we are in most of our conversations.
Every time I check the comments, most people don't seem ever. Most people never seem pissed off.
There's been multiple times where I'm like, oh, this is the one where everyone's going to be mad now. And it doesn't seem
no one got mad at my voice acting argument, so
I think people are inoculated to you a little bit too, though.
Yes.
I mean, before that even happened, you were like, Spanish is bullshit. And
it's
like,
is bullshit.
Like,
I had somebody on my channel leave a comment and said, yeah, I wish I wasn't born in a place that spoke Spanish. I was like, this person gets it.
What the fuck?
Yeah. People understand. Spanish is a crappy language. People who live there understand.
I don't know what anything means anymore.
It means English is best language. What time is it?
It's like we're like 90 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are we? Oh, yeah. We still got time for another question.
Yeah, video game movies.
What is
this person question sucks, so instead we're just going to talk about video game movies.
Wait, what? It does?
Yeah, their question sucks.
Oh, what is their question?
They want us to like go down a wiki list that's like a list of all video game movies and talk about which ones we've seen, which sounds like way less sensical than just talking about video game movies we've seen off the cuff instead of trying to like go down a list of some kind. I don't know what that doesn't make sense to me.
All right, Preed. Well, we're just going to talk. I mean, if I go down the list
it's a weird format, right? It's like an anti-question.
I mean, I get where you're coming from. I guess the
idea is to be comprehensive.
Yeah, by proxy, we will tell you about the films that we've seen. I would generally
say that we've not seen the majority of video game movies because we know they're going to suck, so we just don't bother we don't bother seeing like Fast and Furious or Alone in the Dark or Blood Rain.
Nope.
Because we're like, they're going to suck.
Yeah.
Also, in many cases, they're made about the games we don't care about.
Yes, that's also true.
What's the most recent high-profile one was Assassin's Creed?
Furious is a game.
Oh, wait, I said Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious?
I meant to say Need for Speed.
Need for Speed.
There was a Need for Speed one that was starring Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Yes.
And I didn't see it because I'm like, well, he's in it, so I was kind of like, maybe see it, but I'm like, it's probably going to suck, and I just never got around to it because no motivation. The most recent high-profile one, I think, was Assassin's Creed?
No, Tomb Raider.
Oh, that just happened. You're right.
Tomb Raider.
Neither of us have seen either of those, right?
Is Tomb Raider out?
I don't know. People keep talking about it, and the reviews have been up forever, but there's so many pre-release reviews that I don't know anymore. Which, by the way, don't look at pre-release reviews. Like, they pamper the shit out of people. It's like looking at reviews of people that went to like a review camp for video games where they invite you and they fly you over to a special event to review their game, and you're getting free swag, and you're practically at a theme park, and they're like, review our game, and then you get this early review. Like, when there's reviews out weeks in advance for a movie, and you're like looking at Rotten Tomatoes like, wow, it's a 97%. And it's like, watch that shit drop the moment the movie comes out and all the normal people are seeing it.
Ready Player One.
Well, like what constantly happens
is that was their marketing scheme. It's certified fresh. I was like, it's not even out yet. How do you get certified fresh?
They're basically giving them hand jobs while the review is happening. Like it's so unethical and fucked up. And it's like, it's not just the fact that they throw the crazy event to make you feel good so that you feel good about the movie. It's the fact that they're not just doing it with like the general concept of all of critics. They're literally hand selecting people that they know are going to be probably receptive. Give the movie a positive review, and they're giving them advance access. It's like that happens sometimes with video games. With video games too, they'll be like, everybody has an embargo of the day it comes out, but you get the early review one source, and if anyone ever has like a weird like 1 or 2 week early, like they're the only person who gets to review this game thing. Like, never read that review. Period. Don't even read it. Don't acknowledge it. Don't factor it into your math of how good the average reviews are. Because that person, that is the most, like, that's the most questionable possible context for a review to exist.
They are the mole.
Yeah.
Like, they're the ones that are bought out.
How we got here because we're asking whether or not Tomb Raider was out yet.
I don't know if it's out.
I don't know if it's out yet either.
If it is, and it flew right past me.
I don't know.
I don't remember seeing a single video for it or
the answer, generally speaking, is that video game movies suck.
Yes.
And even at their best, they kind of suck. Like
Resident Evil, when you just don't take it as a video game movie and it's just for funsies.
Well, that's one of my favorite video game movies. My favorite video game movies of all time are Resident Evil and Silent Hill.
Silent Hill,
The first one in both cases.
Yes.
Silent Hill is the best video game movie ever made, is my opinion. We do not count anything that is about video games.
Yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph is not a video game movie.
No,
it's a movie about video games.
No,
but
Wreck-It Ralph's not a real video
game. Yeah, the premise is their adaptations.
I would... Wait.
Like, how much competition really is there is the problem. Some people...
Technically war games.
Everyone forgot that it even existed, but a lot of people latched on at one point to, like, Prince of Persia for a bit. That was the rare case of a video game movie getting a fresh tomato score. It was like a 69 or something.
Well, it was a Disney movie.
It was a Disney movie, wasn't it?
Yes.
Huh. And that was so serviceable. Here's the problem. It's just like a book can be turned into a movie because a book is already a script practically.
Yeah.
You just have to make it like a 90-minute script as opposed to like a 10-hour script in many cases.
More or less.
And it varies how much you can directly translate to stuff. A lot of the stuff works better if you do turn it into like a show. Like,
yeah.
I've been watching a series of Unfortunate Events, which is it's just a joy to get through. Like, it's just I just enjoy the shit out of that. And I never read the books. I'm just having fun with this book adaptation.
Series of Unfortunate Events.
It's a Netflix series.
Didn't they make a movie about that?
Yeah, there was a movie that happened years ago starring Jim Carrey as Count Olaf, and they got through 3 of the books, I think.
Yeah.
And what they're doing now in the Netflix series is every 2 episodes is 1 book.
Well, just speeding that factory up.
Every book has... Well, every 2 episodes is also 2 hours.
Well, yeah, but...
So it's not sped up. It's way slower than the movie.
Oh, is it?
Because the movie was like a 90-minute or 2-hour movie that got through 3 books.
Sorry, I'm thinking like today's time where every movie's like almost 3 hours.
No.
So
it was not a 3-hour movie. You want to do that if you're Marvel or Lord of the Rings. Or Star Wars. Not even Star Wars does that. And most movies are shorter than that. 3 hours is rare.
Well, not 3 hours. I'm saying like 2.5 hours.
You only reach 2.5 hours when it's like, this is the Civil War movie.
No.
And we have billion
Star
characters.
Wars was a fucking 2.5 hour movie.
Some of them are. Some of them are shorter. I think Solo and
Ready Player One was a 2.5 hour movie.
God, I don't know how you stretch that far. It's
every Transformers movie is getting literally 30 minutes
reading
bigger.
The script at some points. Well, that's because Michael Bay doesn't know how to anything.
I think it's a fucking joke. I mean, at some point, it's gonna have a 4-hour movie.
It feels like a prank how much longer every Transformers movie gets.
The last one was 3 hours. Like, I'm not gonna sit through a 3.5 hour Transformers movie. I just don't have the patience anymore.
There's a decent amount of breathing room when every individual book, which I believe they're all short, like children's books, more or less.
Probably young adult books.
Like, I think they're Animorphs length, not like...
Oh, they're like actual children's books.
I don't think that a series of Unfortunate Events books are like Witcher size, where they're like the 350 pages.
Like Harry Potter?
Or, no, Harry Potter's like 600 pages per book, I think.
I thought that was long. I thought that was considered a long book.
They still are longer than most books.
No.
They're short for fantasy books, like a Game of Thrones. Like, that's what fucked with me is when Lindsay Ellis was reviewing The Hobbit and comparing like the lengths of different books, and it was like, here's how long The Hobbit is, here's how long each Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings book is, and it's like, yeah, the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy also knows 1.5 Game of Thrones, and I'm like, oh my god,
yeah.
The first book, which is not even the long one, is already like almost as long as the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm like, get fucked, man! Stop describing meals. But the show gets a decent breathing room because I imagine they're probably like 200-page books or something, but I don't actually know. I just don't remember them looking big when I saw them as a kid. They used to be floating around all the time.
Probably 200.
So each
maybe
one's
200 to 300.
each one's 2 hours long. It's like, this seems fine.
Yeah.
It's a fun, stylized, like, it feels like a...
All I know is like Neil Patrick Harris is in it.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris is Count Olaf this time.
Oh.
And the whole show has this weird feeling of Wes Anderson.
Okay.
When he's like dolly shots and weird clean things and like everything looks weirdly artificial and like it's a storybook.
Yeah.
The whole show feels like that.
Okay.
And I love it. That's great. I have fun with that. And I don't remember how I got there. But video game movies. I was talking about how books make more sense for adaptations than video games. Video games almost never care about the story. Like,
Yeah.
a significant percentage of video games, especially the popular ones, are a series of levels built around some kind of mechanic and a character design, and that's like kind of it.
Yes.
And oftentimes they're drawing so heavily from movies to begin with that they're incredibly derivative.
Characters are usually watered down.
Like, it says a lot that the top 2 video game adaptations people are always clamoring for, both that do exist and don't exist, are Tomb Raider and Uncharted. And it's like, hey everybody. It's called Indiana Jones.
It's called Indiana Jones.
It's called Indiana Jones.
Just watch Indiana Jones.
Those games are just based on Indiana Jones.
It's Indiana Jones.
They made video game adaptations of Indiana Jones, and you want to make a movie adaptation of the thing that was already a movie to begin with, because that's all they are. They're
Wait.
somebody's vignette. They're all somebody's Indiana Jones / James Bond OC. They just made their own derivative work of those things. But the whole point is that what they're adding to the experience is the video game part. And what you want to do is strip that part back out and then just leave the sludge of what was unspecial about it to begin with.
Yeah.
And make a movie out of that. And I'm like, you're just making a really shitty Indiana Jones. I don't care.
Yeah, making
I don't care whether
Uncharted-
it's starting Nolan North or Nathan Fillion or who was the person that Mark Wahlberg was going to be, who it was instead.
Whatever.
That's not the problem. The problem is that it's just shitty Indiana Jones.
Yeah, making an Uncharted movie is literally just making Indiana Jones, but less cool.
Yeah.
Like, you just...
Also,
Yeah, like
if you want... Also, those games are already packed with cutscenes. Just watch the cutscenes if that's what you're there for, because they're going to change the shit out of it anyway to make it a 90-minute thing, because they have to make it short. It's been filled with bad special effects.
why hasn't there been a
integrated with
Kingdom
live
Hearts
actors.
movie?
Because, oh my god, the rights involved in that? Like, I'm actually,
I mean,
like,
Square Enix makes movies and so does Disney.
I don't know.
I'm sure they could... That would be a multi-trillion-dollar movie, basically.
You know what might be the best movies that I've just never seen?
What?
There's a bunch of CG Resident Evil movies.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
have to be better than the live action ones,
I've
right?
never
As
seen
far
them.
as like plot or whatever, even though they're Resident Evil movies, which never have had good plots.
No.
Ever?
No.
No matter how I don't care how much you like Resident Evil. It could be your favorite franchise ever made. You have to know the story sucks for the franchise as a whole and
Yeah.
each individual game. Like, even if you have like a fondness for it, because I do. Like 7, I'm like
I do.
for 7, I'm like, I'm into this. This is great. But I'm not going to pretend it's like a good script.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what they are.
It wouldn't make an engaging watch.
So like on some level, the CG movies might still not be great because the universe isn't great and the stories and characters are not that great.
You know
They're
what
just
was
likable.
You know
in
what was
some cases.
actually okay was the animated Dead Space movie.
I think I only read the comic.
The Dead Space movie was actually tolerable because it did two things that were cool. One, it showed people on the ship
Yeah.
doing things, which is something you don't get to see.
I mean, Dead Space is to some extent a thing you could. I could see a movie being made out of Dead Space. Except the problem is that if you're making a video game adaptation, you're almost exclusively within the realm of like, we're trying to make a wide release, really popular mass appeal movie.
Yeah.
Which means not rated R.
Yes.
Which means fuck it. What's the point?
Yeah, and the second thing that was great was that it explained things. It actually added to the story rather than just been like, "Hey, today, remember that Dead Space game?
People
it was
often
pretty good."
say like the best add-on things, the best live action type things or movie type things for video games are the ones that are just essentially like an additional cutscene.
Yeah.
Like it's adding to the game itself and it's not meant to be watched on its own. But that's not what movies are.
No.
That's not why people make movies if they're going to make a movie for the theater.
I mean, okay, if like putting it in its perspective, like you say, you make Dead Space. Don't call it that. No, like seriously, if you don't call it Dead Space, you don't have this unrealistic expectation that like it has to reach mass appeal. You can make a out of left field indie movie kind of thing where, like an out of left field movie where it's like, it's rated R, I don't know if anyone's gonna watch it, but we'll see how it goes. Like, and it will work. Dead Space is like literally a game that can be turned into a movie and it would work. People would be probably genuinely terrified if like character is walking down hallway and then like the fucking thing just bursts open out of the vent and is like, "Hi, let's hug," and you're like, no. Like,
There's a handful of terrifying things that are in the idea, like the eyeball shit, or being stuck in space and stuff like that. Like, there's enough ideas in Dead Space that could be mined for a horror
like
movie.
the whole psychological elements of like the actual thing taking over people's minds.
You know what I see going back here? It goes back to like my topic of like what my favorite video game movies are.
Yes.
Silent Hill and Resident Evil.
Yes.
Because horror might be one of the most compatible genres with video games.
It is.
Where the narratives and like where what works about the two can be more closely intertwined.
Yeah.
Whereas like a Final Fantasy movie, you try to adapt like Final Fantasy VII into like a movie and stuff like that. And like, first of all, many RPGs don't have as good of a story as you think they do. And you have like, you are sort of brought into caring about the characters more via the interaction and sheer time investment in many cases than the actual script itself.
Example, Advent Children.
Like, you use characters in your party over and over again for dozens of hours, and it's like you get additional attachments to these characters that are totally separate from what they do in the story.
It's just time attachment. It's like when you're dating someone for a certain amount of years. You're like, you get this weird level of attachment because like they've been around for so long, and it's like
I remember doing 500 slot machine attacks with Waka. I don't actually remember what Waka's point in the story is. I can't tell you what Waka's role in Final Fantasy X's narrative is, but I have fond memories of doing slot machine throw attacks and shit. And
he played the whatever that sport was called. He played Blitzball. He was a friend of Titus because he played Blitzball. And
but I think this might be I think we're going to infringe on what I think is an ongoing thing in many RPGs and even Dungeons and Dragons as a conceit, and even but especially a lot of JRPGs, is that thing where like a character in the party just gets glommed onto a party and they're weirdly dedicated to sticking with it for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
because especially in JRPGs, nobody really leaves parties usually unless they die.
Unless they die,
like surprising. Wow, this is the JRPG where a guy died. But like
sometimes you have arguments and you dissipate, or sometimes
there's so many JRPGs in particular where you come across some thief at some point and like, hey, yeah, what's up? And like, I'm gonna just join you on this death mission for the rest of the game. Now I'm weirdly engaged and for some reason I'm like really invested in this. And they'll be with you in the final boss fight. And you're like, why? I'm trying to backtrack why you're here.
Waka's entire existence was he knew you and thought you were cool, but also he wanted to bang Luna.
I think Lulu and Waka were two of those characters. They didn't have to do anything with them because they're just her guardians. So they're just here as a matter of fact, and we don't have to ever address this. And they're just going to be there the whole time. Yeah,
I think Lulu was there just because she wanted to watch over Yuna.
They were both her guardians, and Kamari was. So you had already several characters in the party that they have to have almost no motivation or development, and they'll just be there.
Yeah.
And maybe at some point you're like, oh, it's the Ronso area. Oh, Kamari has bullying problems or something. Like, they might develop something there. But in so many cases, like, the character's just there and unquestioned.
Yeah.
Which is it's actually a recurring thing that happens constantly in D&D campaigns, is that people... Oftentimes, people will make up all their OC characters and stuff. And then it's like... Why are they a party? Is often a real question that you just hand wave away because otherwise the campaign can't happen.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes the only way to make it work would be the DM would have to write all the characters to start with to make them all have a reason to be together, and then they're not your characters in a weird way.
Well, I mean, you can do. There's really invested D&D where you can all start out in a town and then meet each other that way, and then come to an agreement to do a quest. So someone could be like, hey, there's a dragon coming, can somebody help? And then it's the same way that worked in Harmon Quest. Harmon Quest did that that idea where someone shows hey, there's a thing happening to the village. Can somebody help?
Know each other in that though? I think
they
did.
Knew each other in no. So only two of the characters did. Only Harmon and his friend knew each other. The goblin.
Yeah, the barbarian just shows up.
Yeah, the barbarian just shows up. It's wildly, and they're like, hey, would you like to not kill us? And also, could you not kill us? And
it's something I kind of appreciate in its very limited use in some BioWare RPGs and a few other games, is that there's some games where a character will just betray you midway through. And specifically not scripted ones. By not scripted, I mean not like Eris.
Yeah.
Not this always happens at this point in the game is the part where Eris is gone now or something like that. I mean there's variable inputs like Zevron or Sten or Iron Bull or Alistair are so many characters in like the Dragon Age franchise where they can leave the party at certain parts of the game as a result of your previous decisions.
Yeah.
Like if you like Iron Bull is a cool, interesting role because like have you played the Dragon Age games all the way through or certain ones or something? Like do you know what the Kun are?
Yeah, I've played Dragon Age.
Was it 1 and
2? I don't think I played 3.
So in 3, there's a character named Iron Bull who is a member of he's a Kunari, and but he's in your party.
Okay.
But he's a leader of like a mercenary group that is ultimately still loyal to the Kunari.
Okay.
And there's his loyalty mission brings to question his loyalty versus you and versus his crew versus the Kunari as 3 separate factions essentially, because he's a leader of an entire band, and those are all characters in your camp. And so in his loyalty mission, he has a choice to succeed at the Kunari mission.
What was the plot of 3?
It's not relevant to this necessarily, but this is it's the one where like demon voids pop up all over the entire world because the guy from one of the last DLCs of 2 is like destroying the veil, and so demon portals are showing up everywhere, and you're the only one that has this brand that can close the portals.
Okay, I didn't play that one.
And you're fighting Corypheus, the guy that's like the villain of one of the DLCs for 2.
Yeah, so 1 and 2 is all I played. Okay,
Yeah.
Carry on. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure.
So like in his mission, it comes down to like you can successfully finish this Kunari spy mission, but because of the crisis happening during the mission, you have a deliberate choice of succeed at the mission itself and sacrifice his entire crew who is currently threatened to die, like they're currently engaged in a losing battle.
Yeah.
Or save them and completely fail the actual mission. And so like he's mad at you actually if you fail the mission, but his crew survives, and it's almost framed like you did the wrong thing if you save his crew. But that gets switched around later on, because in the last DLC for that game, you once again are facing off against the Kunari again, and you encounter them, and what you do in his loyalty mission basically informs him on how to behave. Because if he sacrifices his crew and succeeds at the mission like he wants to do, then he's been fulfilled on this idea that like the Kunari, like serving the Kun above all else is the way to go, above all like bonds with other people. Whereas if you save the crew, he values that more than even the Kun. So when you engage with the Kun later on,
Such a bad name, by the way.
it's terrible. I can't not think of the South Park like Cartman's character, and when he's a superhero, like I'm the Kun. It's like I hate it.
Also, just the racial slur.
Yeah, but you encounter the Kunari, and mid-battle he will just betray you. Like mid-battle, you have a party of your 3 side characters and your main character.
Yeah.
And if he's in your party, he will just become an enemy.
Oh.
And you will kill him in that fight, and he'll be dead permanently. And you have to like go get another party member to fill out your crew, and that guy's gone forever now.
Oh.
He does that if you succeed at the mission.
What if you don't bring him with you on the mission?
I think it just doesn't come up essentially. That's what's one of the fun things. It's like a fucked up surprise that could just happen mid-run. Is like he will betray you mid-fight, and you'll be down a warrior, which is already not great. And also he dies permanently.
Yeah.
Because he turns on you because you're making him fight against the people that he's sacrificed his entire crew to serve. And so the idea of fighting them now, it's like, what the fuck was the point of the betrayal back of like, sacrificing them back there? So he'll follow through with what you taught him, essentially, which is to stick with them, which is against you in this case. But if you save the crew, then he will fight against them, and it won't be a problem.
Huh.
And he'll just be bummed out basically about it happening.
Yeah.
But his previous thing, like him keeping those people alive, which are a bunch of actually developed and voiced characters too, so even you have like an investment to keep them alive and everything, and the cool follow through is them being alive. They're even showing up in that DLC as side characters all around and stuff like
helping
that.
the fight and stuff.
And it's like that thing you teach that character affects their behavior. Another good one is Zevron.
Yes.
Zevron is a random dude, and you just fight him because he ambushes you to kill you.
Yeah,
he's hired to kill you.
He just shows up.
But then you find out when you defeat him that he doesn't have that much conviction to stick out the job.
He doesn't hate you. He just was hired to do a job.
It was just a job, and he failed. So he's like, yeah, whatever. And there's so many directions to take that in, because he's the like fucking like pansexual fuck everyone character that every single character can romance, but also you could kill him on the spot for trying to kill you in the first place.
Yes.
Or you can keep him in your party, but not make him, but not win his friendship really, and then that means eventually he'll turn on you. If he doesn't, if Zevran doesn't like you, which it's kind of spoiled by the fact that it's really easy to make him like you.
Yeah.
Like one dialogue, literally one conversation with Zevran can max out his friendship. And like if you make all the right dialogue choices, which partly just ends up being welcoming of sexuality and crap like that. I think some of it is just fucking that heart meter is just maxed out. And it's like, well, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, like later on, you encounter some thieves again that are from the Crows, I think they're called.
Yes.
And he'll just, like Iron Bull, will just defect mid-fight and turn on you, and you lose a party member like that. Or like there's the Logain Alistair choice at the end of the first game and stuff like that, where it's like there's binary choice of which characters in your party. Mass Effect doesn't deal with any of this except for Samara and versus Morinth in 2.
Okay.
It's like the only example of that necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, you also don't you get the...
But I love when video game RPGs deal with the idea that character motivations might be at odds with the idea of a party.
Yeah.
Which JRPGs almost never are willing to engage with.
No.
So that random weird thief girl you picked up a while ago will just be around forever.
She'll be there for the whole fight.
Even when you're fighting God, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you really need to stick this out.
So basically, like JRPG movies suck. Is the point?
I'm just talking about like characters and stories are often trampled on for the core conceit of the genre and the game. And oftentimes, so much of the game is just the game part that when you strip all the game part out, the narrative
isn't holding up its own weight. The narrative can't stand on its own as a story. It requires the gameplay to keep it interesting.
Which is why they're so often better when it's like a short movie or an add-on. Like
I wouldn't mind a short, I wouldn't mind an indie film based on a video game because then it's shorter.
There was a good one recently. Did you watch Papers, Please?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
They made a 10-minute short out of Papers, Please, and it's just...
I've been meaning to watch that.
The core conceit of Papers, Please, and
which is
and to the point where it's literally plot lines from Papers, Please.
If you want to be very specific, folks, Papers, Please is the most mundane you can get in terms of both gameplay and story.
Which is why the short film that's I think it's 8 minutes long, it focuses exclusively on just the tough decisions.
Yeah. Well, what else are you going to talk about?
Like, you got the people that were their lives that just I got a work order, but that permit's expired, but I'll get it as soon as I get over, and he
you can't
has the accept or deny choice, and having to deal with drowning out people's pleas, and those moments of weakness where he maybe toes the line here and there, and then also the consequences of when certain people get through, and that's just dealing with that arc is the entire 8-minute thing, and then it's over.
Yeah,
because that's even though it's a game you might play for 6 hours or 12 hours or 20 hours depending on how much you go for the endings or whatever, or just one playthrough or whatever, or what I did, which is play for 2 hours and you're like, yeah, I get it, and you move on, and I didn't even beat it or lose or anything. That's kind of all the narrative you can milk out of these sometimes, and
it's surprisingly that's okay. You can, you know what? I bet you can make just as much profit on YouTube at an 8-minute Papers, Please video as you could by making a fucking full-length feature film movie on the big screen.
At some point, a Papers, Please movie, if it was a fucking theatrical 2-hour movie,
it would just be fucking James Bond style shit.
It would
where
just
it's
be a different thing.
Yeah,
eventually.
It would just be somebody who's I was once a guy permitting people into the country, and now I have to save the country, and it's what the fuck is this?
Or the narrative Resident Evil things is there are zombies, but also some of them are supernatural psycho monsters, I guess, and also there's
also Nemesis. Nemesis.
There's Umbrella Corporation.
Yeah,
which is not interesting. It's just a mega corporation that excuses this dumb shit happening, and it's so at the end of the day, you're just gonna have a character who shoots some dudes and maybe some mega dudes, and then various people in your crew will all turn by one until maybe you're the only one left. And even the Resident Evil movie was we need to do more than this, so they made half the story be just about the main character, which they made up. It's they could have a conspiracy and plot twists and amnesia and a bunch of other shit to go on,
which is more interesting
because there's so little to do with Resident Evil.
Yeah,
And I'm saying that as somebody who read novelizations of like the series.
Well, Resident Evil
I read like 7 Resident Evil books, and there is not movie material in
Resident
those
Evil
things.
is just Resident Evil again with a new number and a new location and a new crew of people, but it's the same fucking story every time.
Like, that's the perk of Silent Hill, is at least it has a world to show us.
Well, Silent Hill changes based on the person that's there, so there is uniqueness to some degree because the person's own horror and experiences alter the world of Silent Hill, which is more interesting than...
But speaking of things being derivative of things, even Silent Hill is based on Jacob's Ladder, a movie I have. Like, I've seen Jacob's Ladder, and like Silent Hill is largely based on Jacob's Ladder to the point where it's like you are just going from a movie to a game back to a movie, because so many games are games first, and that's the point, especially the classic ones, because we're often talking about things from like the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, where narrative was such a backseat, and oftentimes the entire theme of the game and its narrative were ultimately derivative works from movies. But like by the time you turn it back into a movie, it's like, but why?
But why?
The movie already existed, and oftentimes the movies they're still making more of in many cases.
Also, there's no reason. You have the game. Just play the game, and if you want a movie, then watch the game. Watch someone play the game. That's like what Let's Playing is.
So my general response to the entire concept of movie adaptations of games is just, why though?
So then what are your favorite? Top 5.
Top 5?
Top 5. Top 5 video game movies of all time.
Fuck. Silent Hill 1.
Okay.
The 2 is so amazingly abysmal.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shocking change of quality.
It's bad.
Like, 1 is actually pretty alright, like, all the way through, except for that horrible, like, exposition dump where the child that burned in the hospital, that's like the core of the whole thing, is just like, I will now tell you the story of my people. And she just monologues for like 10 minutes straight.
Forever.
It's so long. And I'm like, you couldn't have found a better way to do this?
No.
Or just leave some of this in mystery or anything? It's like, but so much of that movie is totally fine, and it's like it's fine.
Yeah,
it's great, and the visuals are fucking cool.
Visuals are really good.
And just genuinely uncomfortable moments of like the bathroom with the
vagina barbed wire.
Yeah, the guy that's covered in barbed wire in like the bathroom.
That bathroom toilet. Yeah,
it's just like a normal bathroom that's but really fucked up, and then she's like reaching in, and then everything's warping around her as it's waking up. The entire room is transforming. It's like, fuck everything about this. Yeah. Like you're like, what's the worst thing that could happen? And you're like, a lot of things, but you couldn't have imagined that was going to be the worst thing that could happen. Is it gets the whole world warps when you try to reach into the mouth to get the key. Yeah, like there's some cool shit going on there. Fucked up visuals, like how like
it had fun.
That one crazy redheaded girl gets her entire skin ripped off in one suit rip by Pyramid Head. It's like you just got you didn't get de-gloved, you got de-bodied.
Yeah,
you got de-dermised. It was de-dermis. The epidermis became the extradermis and just flew across the church wall. I'm like fucking hell. Like there's a lot of stuff goes well in that movie better than it ever does.
Yeah, and if Silent Hill is one of those movies too that like you don't need to be a stickler about it.
Yeah.
Because people they were like, why is Pyramid Head there? That's for a specific man. And it's like, shut up.
Yeah.
It's,
whereas like if you make me push further, I'm literally going to be like Silent Hill, Resident Evil 1, and then I'm going to try to think of which 3 Resident Evil movies were the most fun.
Do it.
And it's like, it's a little hard to remember. I had a better memory of them a while ago, but it's been a long time since the last one happened, so it's a little harder to tell. But one of the ones I actually really enjoyed was the most recent one. No. Second most recent one. There was a really stupid one, like a next level stupid one, where they brought back clones of all the characters that died.
Oh,
and in some cases multiple clones.
Oh,
because there was one Resident Evil that ended with there being like 100 Alice's.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But then they all immediately died at the beginning of the next one to just get rid of that idea.
Yeah,
it's like, did they not expect to make another movie? But they go to like an underground clone facility where they're like, we're going to bring in every character you haven't seen yet. We're going to bring in Leon Kennedy. We're going to bring in Barry. So there was Barry.
Barry.
Barry was played by the guy that played the Exterminator in Strain. That one actor. The Russian dude.
Okay.
Yeah. Russians at all? He played Barry.
I guess.
Some generic ass guy that looked like a cosplayer played Leon. It was terrible. It was great, and that it was terrible.
Great.
And there was 2 Rains, They
What?
cloned Rain twice. There was a good Rain and a bad Rain from the first movie.
Why?
She was the most likable character of the first movie, and she dies. So, like, we'll bring back two of them. They brought back the black guy that dies in the fucking laser tunnel. He has a clone in, like, the sixth movie.
Who saved his DNA?
I don't know. But the funny thing is that it was the premise was that Umbrella has this underground organization where they do test breakouts, or like they would have like a life scale model of Times Square underground, and it would be like a dome of just that little area.
What do
And
people think underground means?
Yeah,
do they think like underground is like?
Yeah, that's one of the things you like. Actually, it might have been this might have been actually in the Arctic Circle as being like a rapture, actually, like an underwater city. It might have been that instead of underground.
Oh, most likely it was probably underground.
It was like a rapture, actually.
Yeah, it's probably underwater.
Yeah, it's basically a rapture from BioShock, which is even better.
Still,
it's even better, dumber. And yeah, it was a bunch of domes, and each dome was a life scale of like a bunch of locations from real life, like Times Square, like big population centers,
of course.
And they'd have a clone city of people, and then they do a zombie outbreak. And they were testing outbreaks, basically. That was their fucked up thing. I'm like, that's a fun idea for a dumb movie.
That's pretty cool.
And they also have clones of all these dead characters from throughout the franchise, and they're just doing a Resident Evil movie in that. I think the premise was that it was Alice, Barry, and Leon went in. And everyone else inside was like, all the other characters were clones from within the thing. So just for some reason, the members of the STARS unit were among the clone pool.
Yeah, for some reason.
And Wesker's there to be bullshit and stuff like that. And it's like, those movies can be really fun because they're so stupid. Like,
they just don't care, and that's okay. They're just schlock, and like, that's fine.
I both ironically and unironically enjoy them at the same time.
That's
sometimes. Fine. But they're not good scripts. They're not good movies on any level. And they've only gotten progressively worse since the first one, which was the closest one to a coherent narrative of some kind.
Yeah.
But like, just for fun, I'll look up the Red Letter Media video where they were going to review the newest Resident Evil movie like 2 movies ago, and so they in prep they marathoned all the other ones.
Oh,
because they hadn't watched any of them yet.
Oh boy!
And in particular, there's a highlight clip that they have, I think, on their channel, which is them reacting to the ending of one of the Resident Evil movies, and it's so fun to watch. Like, if you haven't seen it yet, we should just rewatch it after this podcast because it's so great. Because it's just it's Mila Jovovich and Ali Larter and whoever. And the guy from Prison Break / Captain Cold, he plays Chris Redfield. And because he plays Chris, Prison Break guy, the bald guy.
God damn it!
The lead guy from Prison Break plays Chris Redfield, and Ali Larter plays Claire Redfield, and then Mila Jovovich is Alice. It's those three versus Wesker, and it's the dumbest shit. None of the special effects are working. People are being thrown around nonsensically, and in particular, there's an incredible moment where like somebody shoots like a buckshot of like spare change at the sky, and like all this glass shatters, and it falls down, and I think like in slow motion, Alice kicks at the giant blade-shaped shard of glass at Wesker, and it cleaves him in half. And Wesker himself is also like not a normal zombie, but a Resident Evil 4 zombie, where they have like the crazy shit coming out of their mouth and the head splitting apart and shit like that. And it's like, that's an actual. Oh no, it's even better and dumber than that, because she didn't kick that at Wesker. She kicks it at a dog that's jumping at her in slow motion. And the dog itself is splitting in half as a giant mouth, and she kicks a slow motion shard of glass through it to like take it down. And it's like nothing is. I'm like, that kind of shit.
That's great.
How dumb that shit is why I love every Resident Evil movie.
That's great.
The most recent Resident Evil movie opens with her basically fighting a dragon. There's like some sort of giant flying bow of some kind, and I don't know what it is. I haven't played whatever game it's based on. I don't remember a flying winged bow.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Bioorganic weapons, I think they're called. You know what they are because we played Revelations 1 and 2, so you're familiar with some of the terminology of this bullshit. And like, that's so fun.
I'm glad that they don't take it seriously. I think that's what makes them better. Mine would just be top 5 would be Silent Hill, Resident Evil.
Silent Hill really doesn't have competition.
No, Silent Hill doesn't have much competition. I would say
just so much better. As a narrative, it just works as an audiovisual experience so much more than any other video game adaptation can.
I would say Prince of Persia.
it's so passable, but also completely forgettable.
Yeah.
But it's brought down to me by one. It's just so derivative and so uninteresting that like it's hard to remember it after you see it.
Yes.
But what it hurts me most is how glaring the plot hole is at the end. Where just unexplainedly he's like, by the way, I can fast travel back in time to super far back, but you know, we're gonna fast travel back. Like, not only can I travel all the way back in time to undo all the problems, but we're gonna do it right after we destroyed that entire city for no reason.
Yep.
It's like,
I love it.
You can't undo the siege at the beginning that you know now just shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
like which was the people which was like the woman you're with is from those people, and you're not going to undo the siege of her entire city. This woman that you apparently love now. It's
if I remember correctly, I think she was like, didn't she lose somebody in that siege?
That's an ongoing narrative of the original Prince of Persia, I think, which I didn't play, but especially the one I did play was the reboot one, which I enjoyed quite a bit. Is like the growing relationship between the prince and the woman of each one. I don't know if she's a princess or a mystic or whatever.
She's usually some kind of like weird.
She's usually like a priestess or something, right? I think she was a priestess in that one in particular. Usually their growing relationship's the whole point.
Yeah.
And it really puts a whole damper on the whole movie that he doesn't undo the destroying of her entire home when he goes back in time.
Yeah.
During the Deus Ex Machina, fuck it, let's undo the entire movie's plot move.
Yeah, it's Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Silent Hill 1, Resident Evil 1, Prince of Persia, Silent Hill 2, and Doom.
No, not Doom. Silent Hill is what I'm protesting here.
No, I know.
You're gonna put in Silent Hill 2 in your fourth slot?
Yeah.
Is it because you just haven't seen you'll even put that over like the Mario movie?
Oh shit, I didn't think about the Mario movie. Yeah,
Surely,
Mario movie is number 4 then.
Surely Mario movie is better than Silent Hill 2.
I didn't think about that. Mario movie is number 4 because it was just bad.
Silent Hill 2 is unforgivably bad.
It is.
Mario movie is memorable and dumb and shit. Like Silent Hill 2, I'm like, it's basically just a drinking contest on how many scenes Kit Harington will spend with his mouth just agape. Because he's got the Kristen Stewart problem where he never closes his mouth when he's acting. Which I made fun of that going into a Kristen Stewart movie once. We were going to see Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oh.
And literally the opening shot of her is looking out the jail cell going, I'm like, close your mouth. And like my mom broke out laughing in the theater because I'd said that before the movie started. And the first thing that happened was her just going. And like every single scene of all of this Silent Hill Revelations, which already you're in trouble when everything's called Revelations.
Yes.
Every movie and every book and everything that's called Revelations is always like, we didn't really try. Like,
stamp of meh quality.
It's such a boring title that I posted that one tweet before because Ubisoft did it 3 times.
Yes.
That Ubisoft has published 3 games that were the subtitles Revelations, 2 of which came out the same year.
Oh yeah, it's right. That is appalling.
Because they have, I think it's Prince of Persia Revelations,
Assassin's Creed
Revelations, and Prince of Persia Revelations came out the same year as Myst 4 Revelation.
Oh right,
They made 2 games called Revelation the same year. And by the way, Revelations is a completely meaningless subtitle to give anything because if you're telling a story, there will be revelations in the story, or what the fuck is the story? What is a story without revelations occurring over the course of the story? So, like, it's the most useless fucking subtitle.
It's great.
Holy shit. I hate it. I hate Revelations, and in fact, I hate most subtitles that start with R-E.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Revenge or Retribution or Revelations or Reloaded. It's always like, it's the shitty sequel where there's so little idea. There's so little idea, there's so little thought put into it that you know that the whole thing's going to be just a waste of time. The only exception of which is Revengeance, which is intentionally a super ridiculous parody of that subtitle.
Yeah,
it transcends,
but it transcends
because Revengeance is fantastic as a subtitle and a neat ass game.
Yes,
where you slow motion samurai chop watermelons and people
because that's the rules of nature,
and you fight cyborg panthers.
And then your final boss is just a man without a shirt.
Like, isn't it the game where the final boss is Bill O'Reilly, or is that DMC Devil May Cry?
No, I think that's
one of those 2 games. The final boss is basically just Bill O'Reilly. And
that's
it's like, this
I think I want to say I don't think it's Bill. Is it Bill O'Reilly? I can't remember if it's Bill O'Reilly or if it's Alex Jones is the final boss.
Alex Jones has become the new flanderized version of Bill O'Reilly at this point. Like,
True.
he's the hyper exaggerated version of what he ever was.
True.
Everything that people thought Bill O'Reilly was, if they weren't that informed, Alex Jones literally is. He's the surprise. He's the Alex Jones is the fake, like, you know, like the CGP Gray's "This Video Will Make You Angry," like the thought germs and like people talk the totem, the fake version of the opposing party that people make up.
Yes,
and it's so easy to argue about and so infuriating because it's a fictionalized version of what they think. That the totem version of Bill O'Reilly is
Alex Jones.
Is Alex Jones. He's literally that. He's that level of crazy and absurd. I'm like, what the actual fuck? You're not real, right? I'm still not convinced he's real.
Put chemicals in the water to turn your frogs gay.
Turn the frogs gay.
I love that. So great.
Oh, he's such a red man.
He's like, it's not even human at some point. Ironically, he's the one who's always like saying ridiculous shit about people doing ridiculous things.
He gets so red, it looks like somebody's just moving a slider in Photoshop. But he's just saturation up, saturation up, saturation up.
He just can't be human.
He looks like what happens sometimes when I'm editing a thumbnail and I'm like, contrast, auto adjust. Oh no, and like someone just turns red. I'm like, that's
I messed up. But Alex Jones editors were like, keep it.
That's just. This will be the man who leads us.
All right,
we pretty much exhausted the video game thought thing, which is none of them have ever really been great.
None of them have been great.
A couple have been okay, and they'll probably never be great.
The takeaway here is don't adapt. Just work with the material, but don't adapt it. Say like, there's some cool characters, there's some cool scenes, there's some cool locations. Let's do those, but don't one for one. You're never gonna make it because
just make your own thing.
Yeah, make your own thing with the property of Silent Hill stuff. You know, that's how you should do it. Or I'm sorry, Resident Evil stuff. Any video game stuff.
Probably not even the property. Frankly, it's just not.
I don't know. You could do cool stuff with.
Some of them are just so incestuously like derivative that it just becomes so. You're just getting a weird like Soylent Green result when you make a video game adaptation because of its motivations being movies to begin with.
I mean, like our Five Nights at Freddy's movie we're getting pretty soon.
Oh God. I mean, that's at least weird.
Is it?
I'll see what
They're literally gonna go film that in like a broken down Chuck E. Cheese. I bet. Like they probably just found some.
Part of me does consider the idea that like it might be pointless to see Five Nights at Freddy's because you could see Krampus.
It also
one where the toys attack people and stuff, and like you swallow people whole and things like that. It's like even that's like done already.
It also makes no sense because I just think of it from like a cinematic standpoint. Like, so you just aren't hanging out in the office for 6 hours? Yeah. Like, are you literally? Is the camera literally going to be following the animatronics? Or are you doing? Is the character leaving the room? Like. You have to just take so many leaps and bounds because the gameplay is
so many questions all of a sudden that aren't there because video games often exist in like a magical space where things don't have to make sense for space.
Yeah, because some guy just sits there for 6 hours and never moves.
There's just so many things that people might want to have a movie based on that's just like Monster Hunter, where it's just like there's just isn't a narrative,
or Minecraft.
Like there's no narrative to work with, and you just want to have a theme park ride essentially, which is like I guess you're the intended audience of like Ready Player One. Yeah, like I want to watch a Gundam punch the Iron Giant, and it's like but this doesn't work as a narrative. It's like there's a Tracer in the crowd. Tracer's there. I know Tracer. Like
somebody write an entire movie.
Some people just want to see CG versions of the characters they like be like in stuff. And one thing that bothers me in particular about this entire concept is that it seems like some people want movies of games just because they so desperately want legitimization. Which is, that's the one thing we didn't talk about, is that some of this need for video game movies, I feel like comes from people's insecurity about video games. Even though video games are like so massively multi-billion-dollar franchisey and shit at this point, I think people still want video games to be something that's honored to the point where people are...
Didn't they make a movie for Dead Island?
No.
What was that?
They made a movie for...
What was that other zombie movie they made a movie for?
House of the Dead.
House of the Dead.
It's the one that looks like it'd be a Dead Island movie.
Yes.
It was like, let's get some teenagers and some bras, and they're going to go to the island and fight things.
That was a great movie.
That movie predates Dead Island by like 15 years, I think.
It probably does.
It's way older, but also has nothing to do with House of the Dead.
No.
And that's, I think the reason why is I think it was that one dude.
I
think it was Uwe Boll.
It was Uwe Boll.
Or what? the one who's known for caring so little that, like, in some of his movies, the bullets coming out of the guns don't match up with the guns where they're pointing.
Yes.
He's so shitty with his movies. Like, yeah, that was blah. But, like, people have been so insecure in many ways about just video games in general that they're like, they freak out on all sides about all forms of attacks. Like, oh, the feminists are going to get all over video games, and Roger Ebert said video games aren't art, and we can't take that an 80-year-old man who's dying might be out of touch about a thing from a different generation, so we have to...
From like 2 generations.
To the point where, like, fucking... Like, Roger Ebert's been dead for years and years now, and people still freak out about the one time he said video games weren't art.
I mean, it's a two-sided coin here. On one side, I get where people come from in that aspect, because there are people who are in a position to change minds, delegitimizing a platform that people find to be...
But also, you're not going to change the minds of super old people that are just done thinking.
Yeah,
again.
but at the same time...
They're done adapting.
It's those people don't change their minds because a movie's made.
Exactly.
They don't give a shit.
Because they already existed then.
Yes.
There were plenty of movies based on video games back then. And it's like...
They don't care.
But then it's like a dumb semantics argument, because Roger Ebert was just like, if you can change the outcome of the thing, and video games aren't a set in stone thing, so they don't work as art. And it's like, we're literally arguing semantics at that point.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you... But like that, that touched a fucking nerve to the point where, like, his legacy among the gaming community is people still going on about that shit after all these years.
Well, okay, but that's the other side.
So dead.
That's like
he's
the other.
So gone.
That's the other side of the coin. Is
he can't change his mind. He doesn't have a brain anymore. It's gone.
The other side of the coin is like that. There's a lot of vocal people in the community who just won't fucking move on from something. Yeah. Where you just have to understand that someone can show up. I do it all the time. I watch a movie and I go, that's a piece of shit. Why do movies even get made? We should shut the whole industry down. And like, the thing is that someone can listen to me and say, like, that's my favorite movie of all time. It got me through a hard place. Good. I hope it fucking gets you killed next time. I hate this movie. It doesn't matter, though, because I'm not going to destroy the medium. It's not going away. Let it go. It doesn't matter what one person says. It doesn't matter what 12 people say. It doesn't matter what an entire world says. It doesn't
matter when somebody says that literally there isn't a single professional American voice actor in the world.
Yes, because there isn't. And if they don't believe me, they can come fight me with their voice, and it's not going to work. So
with your voice.
But the idea is, like,
come at me, bro, vocally.
If some lady shows up and is like, I think every video game is sexist. Okay, well then make your own game that's not, lady, because otherwise it doesn't matter what she says.
But here's another issue here, is that gamers, when it comes to the argument of art, are video games' own worst enemy.
Well, yeah,
because video game people, the people who are often...
Fucking gamers are bourgeois about games.
No, the issue is, like, gamers that will try to argue that video games are art and deserve to have this kind of level assigned to them will also be like, I don't want any politics in my video games. I don't want any troubling concepts in my video games. I don't want to be challenged by my video games. I don't want to have anything to think about in my video games.
Yeah.
To the point where Far Cry 5 comes out and is about... fighting religious cults in the United States with guns now. And it's so depoliticized and so devoid of any meaning or actual content on those subjects in order to not offend anybody, that it just says nothing, even though it's that premise. Like, that kind of shit. Or, like, people freaking out about, like, I don't want female representation or gay representation or dealing with any difficult subjects ever in my video games. I just want my comfortable little bubble. It's like, that's what fucking art is that shit.
Keith,
you can't argue both.
These people
can't be like, I want the fucking hand job of being told how great I am for liking this thing because it's so artistic and meaningful, but also I never want meaning in any of my shit.
Yeah, Keith, because these people didn't live through the Renaissance. They don't know what fucking art means. I get
so mad when I see those two sides converge, and I'm like, you can't have both. You can't feel comfortable and numb all the time and
insanity.
Also want it to be art.
That's the thing, is that's what I'm talking about, is like, you can't, and nobody makes you do them. You know, like, no one makes you play artistic games. No one makes you watch artistic movies. No one makes you deal with the shit you don't like. If Far Cry 5 wants to talk about politics, don't buy it. No one's forcing you to buy a fucking Far Cry game. And if someone is, you should reassess your life situation, because you're currently in a dangerous situation where someone's forcing you to do something you don't want to do. But, like, yeah, if you know, like, if Assassin's Creed wants to tackle the fact that maybe France really sucked it up back in the 1800s, then like, okay, they can do that. And if people get upset about that, fuck off. Like, I didn't want to talk about really tough issues in certain games, but you know what? I dealt with it. It's just
like,
I don't know what the big deal is.
We need video games made by feminists, and we need video games made by gamergaters, and we need video games made by all the angry sides that are all arguing at each other. They all need to have, like, if you want this to be art, all those people need free reign. And you don't like side with one side and be like, those people get their voices and everyone else doesn't get their voices, or like stuff like that. Like,
I don't even get why that even matters.
All the screaming people and all the disagreeing sides all get their shit. And if they don't, then like this is compromised as an art form, basically. Like
I didn't even realize that there was a barrier for entry for anyone to even make art. Anyone can make art. I get
so mad because I'm the one that plays these games where it's like I'll play so many times I'll play a game where they're like somebody will be mad about like some feminist thing that's tied to the thing I'm playing. Yeah, and that's why it's Satan. And also the same thing's happening now because I'm playing KCD, and like the director of that thing was like pro Gamergate or something like that, and like that's like, but it's like that. Those voices,
it's so late.
That's all part of it.
So over. Stop.
I'm still baffled by how often Gamergate comes up. Like, as somebody who has to deal with people publicly in the context of games, I'm like, holy shit, it keeps coming up again. I'm like, I thought we were past this.
I'm actually like,
and it's getting more popular on YouTube. Shows you how much we're not past it. Is how much it still comes up.
It makes me more. I think the thing about Gamergate that makes me more upset is I'm at the point now where I kind of just want both sides to be wrong. Which can't happen. It's an illogical fallacy, but I'm willing to just bend time.
Also, both sides are wrong.
Well, they are, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I want both sides to lose. I don't want games to be art.
When two sides argue enough and extreme themselves at each other enough, they both eventually just become wrong.
Yeah.
Like, because they're both so warped at some point.
Well, yeah. But it's like, I'm at the point now where I'm like, I don't want games to be art, but I also want representation in every game. Like, I just want games to be just nothing now. I want them to disappear because you're all fucking ruining it. Like,
I just get so mad about hearing people talk about what can and can't be games and who can and can't make games, and then also get mad that Ebert said it's not art. It's like, fucking.
It's like children. It's just fucking children who don't understand how anything works.
Where's my AAA budget published game equivalent of Get Out?
Yeah.
We're just gonna fucking stir this pot and see what happens. Like, no. All our AAA shit is like fucking oatmeal.
It's
so uncharacteristic and bland and inoffensive, and all members of all races and creeds can all get together to not feel anything together.
I hate AAA games. And I'm always criticized for that, where it's like, I could have fun, yeah, if you shut your fucking brain off and you sit there for 30 seconds and you don't pay attention of how fucking vanilla it is, and it doesn't care about you, it thinks you're an idiot, it treats you like an idiot, it's not meant for...
Like, right now, we have the superhero problem with movies, but there's so many other movies all the time.
So many other movies.
But the AAA, and they're not just like indie, like straight to Netflix, like secret movies you got to find that are like hidden. They're getting wide releases.
Yes,
like, all the weird movies too. Like, not all of them, but a lot of them. There's still diversity. But like all AAA video games pretty much are like this bland, like superhero quality level movie equivalent, where it's like
plot is garbage, gameplay is garbage, everything's the same as it's always been and always will be because you idiots.
Everything's always just derivative and safe forever.
Yes,
and it's because part of it's because of the huge cost and everything and the risks involved, but also like because people are so like they just start screeching the moment anything slightly ruffles their feathers.
Yeah. And the only time I'll screech is if you're clearly being a scum about making a game like Battlefront 2 or like things like that, where you're clearly like, I don't want to make a game, I just want to make money, and you're like,
Battlefront 2, the Ready Player One of video games.
Yeah, or like Titanfall 1, where it's like, but what happens when EA shuts down the servers? They'll never do. What happens when EA shuts down the servers?
By the way, people that encounter my rant about Ready Player One as an unethical video game, but only watch the movies, have no idea what I'm talking about, because apparently in the movie, like...
Oh yeah, in the movie
they just pop in and do whatever they want. Like, the whole premise of him being in school and not being allowed to do anything because he's like playing a free-to-play game with no currency and he can't literally leave the first starting planet where combat can't even happen, is just not even in the movie. Like, entire swaths of it are completely, rapidly changed, so... Like, it's not the people without reading the book, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I heard like the ending was very Spielberg-y,
That's I've heard that a lot.
where it was just like, games are not the world, kids. Go outside and love your friends. And it's like,
just not which, as I said before, is not a moral you can really plant on a
Yeah.
movie where the protagonist earns everything by being obsessed with a video game.
yeah. Also, the protagonist is kind of like nothing. But
Anyway, this was our
Anyways.
ranting podcast where we couldn't get to any discussions without going through 17 other things. And tell us if we offended you yet. At this point, we're just pressing it further.
if we haven't, then tell us how we can by sending us a question to an email.
Just
which
remember
is-
that if games are art, then everything's on the table.
Oh fuck!
Pick
Does
one.
that mean frog fractions is art?
Yeah.
Gross.
Shave Obama. Remember that. Send your questions to
Sit
sit
and
and discuss
discuss.
podcast at gmail.com. It's in the description. Please send
It
us
always
questions.
is.
We're always running out.
You can also send us PO box stuff because we haven't got PO box mail.
I have to
forever.
ask in Discord for more questions half the time because we're just running out. Also, yeah, we still have a PO box. How long is that around?
I don't know. I should probably check on that.
Didn't you originally pay for like 6 months of it or something?
Yes, I think so.
How long has it been?
Not 6 months. I think 6 months will be in like June. I think
No.
no.
We were like, our original ramp up was ramping up towards Christmas.
Oh,
So
probably this month then.
might be gone already.
No, well they would have.
Maybe we don't have a PO box.
I don't know. Send us stuff to that PO box though.
See what happens. See you guys next time.
See you next
Bye.
time. Bye.
Get angry.